to the podcast that makes you take a second look at what you just watched. As always, I'd like to thank you for joining me on yet another week of debauchery, where we cover some of the craziest jamokes across the internet's comedy and podcast circuit, and all in between. This is Lost Ox Media. Who do we have on the docket for this week? We have highlights from probably the worst episode of the JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience, that I've ever seen. And this is going to segue us real nice into Tom Segura talking about his real dream in show business. I always thought it was comedy. Apparently, it's not. Then Ethan Klein mentions Tony Hinchcliffe on a recent episode of The H3 Show. And Tony ends up joining Bill Maher on a recent episode of Club Random. Then Theo Von has his self-proclaimed worst episode of this past weekend with Caleb Presley. And then we're going to dive into Theo Von having a little bit of a fan altercation, huh? Yeah, little bit of a fan altercation. What could it possibly be? I'll tell you, it's not good. And then we have the fan speaking out about it. All this and more on Lost Ox Media.
All you gotta do is jump, 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 jump. Look back, all you gotta do is jump, let them know who you are. You got it in ya.
Ooh. So, wait until I tell you guys about this worst episode of JRE. Joe ends up having this I don't know, this guy Dr. Zahi Awas or something like that. Guy's a fucking weirdo, dude. The guy is a complete nut job. And Joe was very excited to talk to this guy at the beginning of the episode. Like, the way that it started, he was like, I can't believe you're here, man. Like, I've been wanting to get you on for so long, dude. I cannot tell you how stoked I am about this. Like, and then the guy just ends up basically nosediving the entire interview right from the start. Like, Joe seems very fed up with them very early on, and it continues that way throughout the entire thing. And here's the craziest part. This guy's like supposed to be Egyptian, right? This guy sounds like Maurizio Giuseppe. Like, this guy sounds like the most Italian dude in the world. I don't know anything about this guy. He could be Italian. I thought he was he's talking like he's Egyptian. Like, the way he goes about being like this all-knowing dude about the pyramids and stuff like that, he making it seem like he's an Egyptian. This guy sounds like if gelato could talk. That's what this guy sounds like. If a cup of gelato could say something to you, it would sound exactly like this guy. Now, watch this. This is classic. This is one of those fed-up moments I was telling you about. This guy's about to ask Joe if he could introduce Joe in Houston. Now, normally, Joe, if he can or can't do it, he's very nice about it. Watch how he has this interaction with this guy. Not so nice, Joseph.
Can you kind of introduce me here in Houston? Excuse me? Excuse me? Can I introduce you in Houston? No, I cannot. Why? Because I'm very busy. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Okay. Fuck you. Look at Joe's face. Does that look like a guy who's still very excited to talk to his fucking favorite cup of gelato? Doesn't look like someone who's very excited about this to me. This is like a highlight clip from Twitter. I hate how these guys, they like edit in what they think is funny. It's like they play it back in half speed and the audio sounds all warped and shit like that. It's like, okay, so Joe said, excuse me. Who gives a fuck? But watch this guy ask him, watch. You go, can you introduce me in Houston? Joe hits him with the hard no. Normally, Joe's like, sorry, I can't do it. You know, I might have UFC that weekend or something. He like softens the blow a little bit. Not this time. I like this because this guy is a creep.
Can you kind of introduce me here in Houston? Excuse me? Excuse me? Can I introduce you in Houston? No, I cannot. Why? Because I'm very busy. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Zahi. Oh, whoa, fuck. Zahi, not Zawi.
Look, now this guy is correcting Joe. Joe said his name wrong. This is Joe Rogan Experience, bro. This is not Doctor Strange's fucking world tour experience. This is not Italian pretending to be Egyptian experience. This is the Joe Rogan Experience. He says your name wrong, then fucking live with it. Now watch this guy. He's about to start He wipes his nose and all this shit while smoking this huge brown cigar. And he's lapping on this thing like if it's like a fucking dick.
Zawi.
Zahi.
Watch him with the nose.
Zahi. Not Zawi.
Look at that.
Nah.
Oh, that was bad. Watch, they're gonna show it again later. He like fully wipes his nose, dude. That's like crazy. And then you gotta touch Joe Rogan's expensive microphones. You know, one of those mic arms is like $600. For the arm of the microphone is like $600. You know, this guy's wiping his nose all over. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? That's how they do it in Italy, not here in Texas.
Give me Jamie's email.
Yeah, give me.
Watch this.
Now.
Give me Jamie's email.
Yeah, give me. And I will tell you a joke.
But if you believe in magic,
Look at that.
I do, of course.
you do believe in magic.
That nose wipe was rough, dude. That nose wipe was rough. Watch that one more time.
Now.
Give me Jamie's email.
Yeah, give me. And I will tell you a joke.
Oh my god, dude. You thought the first one was bad. And look at the schnoz on him. So you know he's wiped like a good quart of bodily fluids all over his hands. With a nose like that, I could only imagine what's coming out of a nose like that.
But if you believe in magic,
I do, of course.
you do believe in magic.
Yeah.
So you believe that someone could take someone's head off, put it back on.
It's written.
Okay, then it must be true.
Yeah.
See, this was something that was funny to me too in the interview. The guy kept going like, I'm not a scientist. And then later on in certain points, he would go, no, but I'm a scientist. And this is how scientists do it. So the guy kept flip-flopping on his points, right? And then he went on this one tangent where he talked about how there was this written scripture about how this guy could take the heads off of like animals and then put them back on and the animals would live, right? So Joe's sitting there going like, well, you don't believe what other scientists say when it contradicts your work, but you believe in magic, right? And the guy's like, well, it's written. If it's written down, it has to be true. Anything that's ever been written has to be true. That's just the way it is. It's just like me. I believe that everything online is true. So anything that I read about anybody online, no matter what it is, how crazy it is, it's true because I read it online. This guy has the same exact mindset, and I like that about him. Everything else about him is creepy as hell. You know what I mean? So I just thought this was funny because Joe is like sitting there basically iterating this to him. He goes, well, you don't believe in these scientists, but you believe in that because it's written down. Okay. And it was shit like this that had Joe very turned off to this guy. This is like one of those, we're like watching someone like meet a hero of theirs and it's gone bad. Like we're watching it happen right now. And it's lovely because it's Joe Rogan that it's happening to.
But if you believe in magic,
I do, of course.
you do believe in magic.
Yeah.
So you believe that someone could take someone's head off, put it back on.
It's written.
Okay, then it must be true.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What about right here, right now?
I can send it to you
Where do you have it? Do you have it on you?
in my computer.
Where's your computer?
In
Oh, I love this part. Look at this asshole. Look at Mr. Italy over here. Where's your computer? So basically this guy starts like bragging about some work of his, right, to Joe. And Joe's like, well, do you have it published online? Jamie could look it up. Dude, I'm telling you, this guy was bullshitting the entire time. Every single thing this Dr. Strange guy talked about, Jamie, you know how quick Jamie is. Jamie's on there clicking and clacking, and he's like minimizing his Pornhub tab so he can get to the stuff that's being talked about on air. He does this very fast. Jamie couldn't find like half of the shit this guy was talking about. Why? Because the guy was bullshitting the entire time. Like, you should have seen the comment. I was reading so many comments about this guy. People going, this guy is misrepresenting Egyptologists all across the globe. This guy is a joke. You know, people were really fucking pissed about this guy. So he starts talking about his work. Of course, Jamie can't find it online because it doesn't exist. Then Joe goes, well, I mean, where do you have it on you? Do you have it on like a flash drive or something like that? And he's like, I have it on my computer. And Joe's like, okay, well, where's the computer, dude? Like, stop talking. Stop dancing around the point. Where is the shit? And this is where we're at right now. The guy's like, the computer's not on site. They don't have the computer. And shit like this pisses Joe off. Joe's like, I want to show it on the show, motherfucker. Watch this.
Oh, right here, right now.
I can send it to you
Where do you have it? Do you have it on you?
in my computer.
Where's your computer?
In Las Vegas.
Oh, well, fuck.
But I can send it to you before
Yeah,
you.
but I
Look at that look. Dude, Joe gives that look to Jamie. That's not a good look. Joe's like, we're going to have to wrap this up like sooner than later, man. Like, I can't go through this anymore. Joe's about to fucking roundhouse kick this guy in his neck. And Joe's so strong that the neck will just go away and his head will just fall back onto his shoulders. The guy will still be completely alive. It'll be a surgical cut. That's how good one of Joe's kicks are. Joe is ready to fucking pummel this guy. Watch this face, dude.
want to show it on the show.
Show it in the show. I can
Like
send it.
Watch. Let's go back. Look at Joe. Look at Jamie like that.
Las Vegas.
Oh, well, fuck.
Look at that. Look at that. That is a man who is on the verge of violence right now. Joe's like about to turn into the monkey that he talks about being all the time. He's like going to be like a Super Saiyan. He's dude, imagine Joe Rogan as a Super Saiyan. But not, see, this is one of the deep anime cuts I'm about to drop on you. He's not going to be like a regular Super Saiyan with like the yellow hair that you guys see. I'm talking Super Saiyan 4, bitch. I'm talking he grows like the tail out, right? And 90% of his body gets covered back in fur. And of course, he has a huge, lovely mane, dude. His locks are flowing in that Super Saiyan 4. You know what I mean? And his whole body's red. See, if you're not deep on the DBZ lore, you don't know about that cut, do you? We're not talking regular yellow Super Saiyan. Imagine Joe like that. Joe's about to turn into that. This asshole has his photos on a computer in Las Vegas. They're in Austin, Texas, motherfucker. You got to get with it, dude.
Las Vegas.
Oh, well, fuck.
But I can send it to you before
Yeah,
you.
but I want to show it on the show.
Show it in the show. I can.
Look at that. Show it on the show. And this, look, Jamie actually edited this in.
Send
Did
this shit
show.
When I
tomorrow.
first saw this, I thought like, oh, this stupid ass clipper who put this clip on X is like editing this in. No, Joe Rogan put that in. The guy never sent Joe the photos, bro. He never sent Joe shit. He's sitting there bragging to Joe about this awesome ass work he's doing in Egypt, digging up, I don't know, old Egyptian fossils and mummies and shit. And he can't even provide proof of his work.
Okay, you can send it tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, we'll splice it in, folks.
Then tomorrow.
The disappointment on Joe's face right there. We'll splice it in, folks.
Tomorrow.
Okay, you can send it tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, we'll splice it in, folks.
Watch this guy.
Then
Look at his face, bro.
tomorrow.
So fed up, dude. I love that.
Okay. You can send it tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, we'll splice it in, folks.
Then
Joe is like, somebody fucking shoot me right now. And I'll do it. I'll do it. If I was in the room, I would have shot him. Point blank. I would have did him like RFK's dad. Didn't he get shot in like the middle of like a fucking press conference or something like that? I would have did that for Joe. I would have put him out of his misery like that.
tomorrow I will
Okay.
send it to you.
Please do. Okay, I'll
Now.
give you my email.
Now.
I'll give you Jamie's email.
Yeah. Give me.
Why
And
do they do that? I hate that they do that, these fucking clippers, bro. They try to edit in these little moments. The moment's good enough. We don't need you to edit in your bullshit to make it like better. Well, let's give it up for Dr. Strange, what Zahi Awas or some bullshit like that. I'm telling you right now, the guy was a nut job. Go back and watch that episode. It will blow your mind, dude. It was quite ridiculous. So let's get into the Tom Segura talking about his real dream in showbiz, dude. I always thought it was comedy. Apparently it's not, dude. This guy has always wanted to be a movie star. Dude, fuck comedy, bro. This guy was only doing it as a step stool to get deep in the show business. And you know what's funny is like everybody for the past like couple of years, a lot of like the real heavy Your Mom's House fans, a lot of the real like day one Tom Segura fans that liked him for his comedy before all the podcast stuff and everything, they're hating on this dude something strong online, dude. It's because he's like changing. He's kind of going from like just a famous guy, like a famous comedian, and he's kind of trying to turn into like this elite, like almost like a socialite kind of in a way. He's taking all these private jets everywhere. He's bragging about his expensive ass watches and sports cars. He's sitting there trying to like incorporate a French accent into like his everyday life. This guy's like he like wants to be French, Tom Segura now. It's crazy. He like wants to be like a croissant or something like that, you know, with a Rolex on. So it's like a lot of his fans are kind of like, bro, you're losing the plot, dude. Comedians, that's not comedy, bro. Private jets and caviar. Dude, I watched an episode of Two Bears, One Cave recently. Him and Bert were doing their 5K run, right? So they were doing the podcast like on stage at the stadium that the 5K was taking place at. And everybody who was going at doing the 5K was basically the audience for this fucking podcast, right? Tom and Bert, in the beginning of the podcast, they start talking about how hungover they are, right? Because their lives are so hard. They get nurses to come on stage, hook them up to IVs. They're doing the podcast with IVs in their arms. Like, oh man, I was so hungover last night, but thank God I'm fucking rich and I can get these IVs, man. They help out so much, man. Everyone in the crowd should do IVs, bro. Like, I'm telling you, I know you can't afford it, but I'll make the suggestion to you because I'm a fucking cuck. Like, these guys are losing touch with, like, the people that made them who they are in the first place. You know, like, when you really think about it and boil it down, that's kind of what it is. You're losing your way, my friend. And we can't have that. We cannot have that. Tom Segura just came out with his new Netflix show. It's called Bad Thoughts. Dude, I watched it. Nothing's funny. It's like everything is all like shock value type shit. It's like a guy accidentally blows a lady's head off. He's an assassin. Accidentally blows a lady's head off. Oops, you missed your target. Big deal. But we've never seen that joke before, right? Oh, how do we spice up this bit that's been done 1,000 times? Oh, the assassin on his way out, he shits his pants. Oh, okay. That makes it hilarious. So the guy, it's like shocking like that. And then half of the bits in the whole damn thing was Tom like fucking other women. It was crazy. Like, I actually couldn't believe it. This guy was like, every other bit was him fucking another girl. So he's like making out with these chicks. It was almost like, it seemed like the whole show was just an excuse for him to like finally kiss somebody that's not his wife in public. Because, I mean, let's be real. This guy is probably cheating on Christina. This guy is on tour like 51 weeks a year. You know what I mean? Like, he's constantly on tour. There's no way he's not cheating on his wife. You know? So, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to go back and watch Bad Thoughts, you can. I'm telling you, it was dog shit. It was dog shit. This is like for people in offices that don't have like real senses of humor, and then they watch it and they go like, yo, that was crazy, all the stuff that was happening. If you are somebody who's like into comedy at all, you watch something like that and you go, this is fucking dog shit. Andrew Scholes could have done a better job than this. Now let's listen to Tom talk about how his dream is to keep producing dog shit like this. Listen to this.
But it's been the most fun I've ever had, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Because you know what? I was thinking about it like on my way in here today. I was like, sometimes you have to remind yourself like of what your original dream, you know? And my dream when I moved to LA had nothing to do with stand-up. I never thought of stand-up.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Look at this asshole. You never thought of doing stand-up. What did you like just fucking stumble into a comedy club and it just accidentally happened for you? You had to have put in all the work for it, right? You had to have saw it as a dream at some point. There's no like, so it wasn't your original dream. You just put us through like 15 years of dog shit comedy. You just put us through that for what? For kicks? This is what this is. You just did it for fun. You fucking throw all that trash into the world, and somehow people pick it up. You know, one man's trash is another man's treasure. That's what they say. So this guy's thrown 15 years of comedy bullshit into the wind. He's just, you know, something just to get him by, so that he could get to his real dream. Listen to what it is.
Like of what your dream, like your original dream, you know? And my dream when I moved to LA had nothing to do with stand-up. I never thought of stand-up. Not to say that I don't love doing stand-up today. I'm in love with stand-up. But I moved to LA because I was like, oh, I want to do movies. Like that was my whole thing. I want to do comedy movies. And I have.
Oh my God, look at this guy. He wants to do comedy movies. This fucking nerd. I want to do comedy movies, Joe. It was always my biggest dream was to do comedy movies. I got into stand-up because I wanted to be the next fucking Chris Farley, man. I wanted to. When Tom first started, he was like the size of Chris Farley. So that actually might have been a dream of his, to be like a fat retard like Chris Farley and do Black Sheep and stuff like that. I never thought Chris Farley was funny. I'm being genuine here. I'm not trying to like do a bit or anything. I never thought Chris Farley was all that funny. Chris Farley, who's that other guy that screams a lot? Sam Kinison. These guys like this, I never was like big on these guys. Like you can do it without yelling. You know what I mean? I know. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start doing it without yelling. I've said it before on the show. Pretty soon, I'm going to be just whispering the entire episode, and it's going to be ASMR. That's actually not a bad idea. Imagine that. Imagine if that's what turned this channel around and got this channel popular, was like me doing the same show that I'm doing now, right? But doing it in ASMR. Everything is like very quiet. How crazy would that be? Red Bar ASMR. You know what I mean? Now listen to this asshole talk about how he wants to do movies. Please, Tom, don't. Okay? If what you're offering is like bad thoughts, don't do it. Don't do it at all.
Not to say that I don't love doing stand-up today. I'm in love with stand-up. But I moved to LA because I was like, oh, I want to do movies. Like that was my whole thing. I want to do comedy movies. And I had like my own blueprint for how I would do it. I was like, I'll go to the Groundlings. SNL will definitely hire me from there. Like this is like my 21-year-old brain. And then I'll do that for a couple of years, and then I'll do movies. Like I thought that was a logical game plan to end up in movies. And it just, you know, I did do the Groundlings for a while, the school. But when I was supposed to do Writing Lab, which was like one of their levels, I had started stand-up, and I was just like, oh, this path is just better for me. Like I was getting traction, not like my career was.
So you found out that the dream that you had was harder, and it took a lot more work, right? So then you gave up on it, and you found comedy, which was like where you could really slack off. You just write a little bit. You do your spots at night. Yeah, you live in squalor, but it's like you're having a great time the entire time, right? Everyone's laughing and smoking crack and stuff like that. I think that's what they're all doing at the comedy clubs, is smoking crack cocaine. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I've never been to a comedy club in my life. Not one, ever. I only go see comedy in theaters, man. I'm the fucking shit, bruh. Front row every time. Andrew Santino. Went and saw him do Cheeseburger. All right, so what, like you gave up, you found out that making movies was harder. It took more time. You actually had to be like smart to do it, and you couldn't be a fat slob that fucking wanted to sit around all day and do nothing, which was kind of what Tom was when he first started comedy. So then you stumbled across comedy, and you found something that you say, oh, I could put very minimal effort into this, get maximum output. So let's take this route. Let's go here instead.
Wasn't moving, but I'm saying like I could feel how much I loved it, and I was starting to get like $50 here and there, and I was like, oh, it's not doing the writing lab thing, it's staying in the stand-up path, you know, like that's kind of like
interesting.
But the dream of doing something like movies, which is like, this feels like to me like they sent me to film school and they were like, make your fucked up movies. That's what it felt like. That's been like, I was, you know.
That's basically what Netflix is doing now. They're running out of shit. They're running out of stuff, dude. That's why they're even entertaining people like you. And for some reason, you have the numbers that you have, so they're like willing to throw money at your ass. You know what I mean? But I think it's crazy to me to like listen to Tom go, oh, I couldn't do it. I couldn't hack it. I always wanted to do it, but I couldn't hack it. I found this. It was easier. Bro, why couldn't he have just done what all of us do? Try at your dream, right? And then just give up halfway through. Like, why did you have to take this alternative route and fucking scar the world with your bullshit for 15 years? And now we have bad thoughts. That's what it all ends up at. I'm telling you, go and watch it. They're like 17 minutes a pop, so you could finish all 6 of them in like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Go watch it. You're gonna be like, dude, this guy is just like cheating on his wife on Netflix. That's all. The whole thing is like Tom just cheating on his wife, and it's like recorded. You know what I mean? That's it. It's like every other skit is sex, and a lot of shit, a lot of poo poo in that bitch. He's worse than Ethan Klein with this. So let's get out of this one. Let's give it up for Tom. You know, finally coming to grips with his real dream. It took him 15 years. It took him 15 years to do this. Now listen to this. This I find very, very rich. You know, a lot of people talk shit about Joe's comedy. I'm one of them. I think this guy should have nothing to do with a microphone and a stage in a comedy capacity at all. You know, it's UFC or bust for Joe Rogan. As far as I'm concerned, he should have nothing to do with a microphone. Send this guy back to the open mics, as far as I'm concerned, because I still to this day, this is something Joe Rogan seriously is like an anomaly. He's almost like like he talks so much about this simulation theory bullshit. I think that like Joe Rogan is a prime example of us living in a simulation, because there's absolutely nothing on paper that would tell you that this guy should be as big of a comedian as he is today. All right, he's got his podcast and stuff like that, and that's really what put him in the seat he's in now. Okay, I give it to you. But back when he was doing comedy, it got him enough to where he was the host of Fear Factor for years, which gave him like fuck you money to where he could like not care about shit, and that's where he started the Joe Rogan podcast. But like, what? There's nothing on paper for Joe Rogan's comedy to have gotten him anywhere even close to something like Fear Factor. And like, I'm not even saying this like in a hater capacity. I'm being so fucking real with this. Like, if you read Joe's comedy in script format, you would be like, what the fuck is happening here? And when you see his comedy, like, anyone with like half a brain watches it and goes like, how the fuck are people laughing at this? So it's like, he's seriously proof that we live in a simulation. Someone designed that and put it into the program and said, no matter what happens, this guy will be this guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only explanation, whatever you want to call it, that I can even think of in my head. Now listen to this guy talk about how he no longer does comedy anywhere else but his club. Shocker. Fucking shocker. When I heard this guy say that, I was like, oh, that makes sense. I mean, your last comedy special sounded like you did it for nobody but a safe crowd like your club.
And then my tour, the current tour I'm on, will end in December, and I'm leaving 26 wide open.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, film stuff.
I'm gonna film some stuff, and then I'll still do like what I do, which is like go into your club or book some club weekends, which are kind of like low, stress kind of things where you go like, hey, I'm just gonna go work out. Yeah. So I'll try to keep the muscle fresh, but I won't book like a tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to take breaks.
It is,
I'll
right?
tell you that. I took a big sort of a break. I've just been doing the club.
How's
Since I
just
did
been
my
doing the
live
club?
special.
yeah?
It's very nice. It's great having no pressure. So like I just talk about what I want to talk about and I write about what I want to write about
Yeah.
instead of going I got to put an hour together.
Yeah.
'Cause
Look, I can't stand this bullshit. Look at this guy. This is why I put this time code in, because this is like, you ever hear people, they have like motivational clips of him like talking where he's like, you got to put yourself through discomfort, man. Like you're never going to grow if you're not like uncomfortable. I work out like 16 hours a day just to be uncomfortable, man. Just so the rest of my life is like easy, bro. Like he's always talking about this stuff. And you're going to sit here and talk about how you just want to do comedy in a safe space? Mr. fucking free speech? Mr. I hate trans people? You cannot do this. If you're going to be a professional comedian, then you have to tour from this point forward. If you're going to be a club owner, then just be a club owner. Don't get on the stage. Mitzi Shore didn't get on stage when at the fucking Comedy Store. Okay? She wasn't up there like, hey guys, I'm here to fucking make everybody laugh. No, she didn't. She sat in the back and she did her job. She said, you're fired, you're hired, you're passed, you're not. This guy's going to be the next big star. You know, she did that thing. She didn't get on stage because it was safe. This guy, look at this asshole. I hate him. I hate what he's become. Mr. Rogan, you used to be so nice before Trump came along. I never thought he was funny, though, you know? Even when I liked his show. Like, I genuinely have to fucking swallow these episodes down like they're giant pills now. It's like fucking, it's really hard to watch. Every episode, you know that it's like all roads lead to Rome. You know that eventually, at some point in the episode, he's going to go, man, the free speech, man, and like trans people fucking suck, bro. Like you know, at some point the episode's gonna get there. He could have like the funniest comedian ever, where you're like, oh, there's no way it could end up here. It always ends up there. And now we have to listen to you talk about how you do all that attacking on your show, fucking stepping on trans people all the goddamn time. I love trans people, and Joe hates them. He does all that shit. All that shit talking, how his show's so real, and he only wants to do comedy in a safe space. What a bitch.
Book like a tour. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to take breaks.
It is,
I'll
right?
tell you that. I took a big sort of a break. I've just been doing the club
How's
since I did my live special.
yeah?
It's very nice. It's great having no pressure. So like I just talk about what I want to talk about and I write about what I want to write about
Yeah.
instead of going I got to put an hour together
Yeah.
because I have a tour in 3 months.
Right.
Like
Look at this. I can't, look, I'm not even in the room, and I can see my reflection off of the top of Joe's head. That's how shiny. Joe's head's so fucking shiny. Look at this goddamn thing. Look, when you get like real up close to it, I don't even know. It almost just looks like a hill or something like that. A little molehill, or the top of a thumb. Joe Rogan looking like a thumb wearing a Black Rifle Coffee t-shirt. Talking about how he has to do comedy in a safe space. Let's give it up for Joe. Being a total puss. You know? Now look, remember I was telling you guys about how Tom Segura is kind of become like disconnected from the average man. You know what I mean? And this is where you start to like really lose people. This is where you start to cross over from like being popular and then crossing that threshold to where like your numbers, a good portion of them start to translate to like hate watches and shit like that. You know? It's like you get to a certain point of popularity where like your numbers are genuine after a while. And then you become like Tom Segura, private jets, croissants in French, Rolexes, nice sports cars, you know, wanting to be friends with people like Dana White. You know what I mean? That's where people start. So then your numbers, they'll start to dwindle a little bit from fans falling off, and then you'll get a slight push again, and that's where you get that hate watch margin. That's where a good chunk of your numbers become hate watchers like me, or people wanting to like just watch just to keep tabs on what you're doing because they fucking hate you. You know what they say, Howard Stern. He always said, the people that hate you watch you way more than the people that like you. It's kind of true. I watch every minute of these goddamn things. You know what I mean? Now listen to Tom talk about his new sleep protocol.
Go up half in the bag. I'll eat a lot of creatine,
and I'll be okay.
So my brain works.
Yeah.
Do you know to do that?
Yeah, I started doing it every day. Yeah.
But that's a really big one for sleep deprivation.
Really?
Look, Joe Rogan. You ever take like a lot of creatine, bro? He's like, sometimes I don't sleep for 48 hours. I just take ass loads of creatine. I buy the most expensive shit on the market because I'm fucking rich. And then he opens his eyes all wide. He goes, yo, that's a big one, bro. That's big for brain function, bro.
To do that?
Yeah, I started doing it every day. Yeah.
But that's a really big one for.
Look at his eyes. That's a really big one, bro. He's like, that's a really big one for cognitive function, bro. He's like, I swear to God, bro, I take like at least a cup of creatine. I swallow it dry, all powder dry, and then I sniff up like 8 lines of cocaine. That's a big one, bro. That'll get your brain fucking zooming, bro.
For sleep deprivation.
Really?
Yeah, there was some sort of study where they showed that it completely diminishes the effects of sleep deprivation. If you take, I think it's 20 grams. I think 20 grams of creatine, something crazy like that.
I've been doing that. I have a whole new sleep protocol I'm doing.
Oh, a sleep protocol.
With, like, I'm saying a bunch of peptides and shit. Yeah.
Ooh,
Look at how serious Tom was about that. Wait until you see how serious his face is when he says that. I got a whole new sleep protocol, bro. He gets like real. He's like, I'm telling you. And he's like bragging to Joe. He's like, I got a whole new sleep protocol. This shit's going to blow your fucking mind. What are you, Brian Johnson? That dude that like sucks his son's dick to try to like live forever or something like that? It's like what Tom sounds like.
20 grams. I think 20 grams of creatine, something crazy like that.
I've been doing that. I have a whole new sleep protocol I'm doing.
Oh, a sleep
look at his
protocol.
face.
With, like, I'm saying a bunch of peptides.
Yeah, a bunch of peptides, bro. I'm getting real fucking in it, bro. I got scientists that come over the house. I never see my kids anymore. I'm cheating on my wife on the road, so I don't even have to worry about getting pussy. My sleep has never been better. I don't ever even lose sleep off of all the fucked up things I'm doing. You know, I'm cheating on my wife. We're recording it and putting it on Netflix. I don't lose a wink of fucking sleep, Joe. You know why? Because I have a new sleep protocol. That's exactly why. I can get away with that. We have nannies, Joe, that spend maybe 95% of their time with the kids. I'm there maybe 5% of the time. The rest of the time, I'm recording skits for Netflix and fucking the actresses that are in the skits, all behind my wife's back. I never lose an ounce of fucking sleep, all thanks to my new sleep protocol. I'm taking so many peptides, Joe. So many fucking peptides, dude. You could cheat on your wife so fucking hard with these.
If you take, I think it's 20 grams. I think 20 grams of creatine, something crazy like that.
I've been doing that. I have a whole new sleep protocol I'm doing.
Oh, a sleep protocol.
With, like, I'm saying a bunch of peptides and shit. Yeah.
Ooh, I just ordered an Oura ring to track my sleep.
That's good. Do you have to try
What
that
the
pineal?
fuck was that?
No, I haven't. I heard about it. You were telling me it really ramped up your
Yo,
REM
wait,
sleep.
hold up.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is Joe Rogan fucking sweet? Joe Rogan's sweet now? Hold up. One more time.
Oura ring to track my sleep.
That's good.
Look at Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's sweet as fuck. What the fuck? Look, and the way he does it with his finger, it's almost like he's like picturing himself with his finger up somebody's ace. He goes, yeah, I got this new Oura ring. I shove it deep within my ace. And then I go,
A bunch of peptides and shit. Yeah.
Ooh, I just ordered an Oura ring to track my sleep.
That's good. Do you have
Sweet
to
as
try
hell.
that pineal peptide?
No, I haven't. I heard about it. You were telling me it really ramped up your REM sleep.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Anything for more sleep, I'm into, man.
dude, shut the fuck up, bro. This guy, I'm telling you. He's next thing you know, he's gonna have like a podcast where it's gonna be like Two Bears, One Cave, but instead of Bert, it's like Andrew Huberman. You know what I mean? Like he seriously thinks that he's like gonna be like one of the elites. He's not. Okay? You're never going to be as cool as Trump, dude. Chill. Like, goddamn. I'm telling you. It's fucking crazy. This is why I say this stuff, because this is where this motherfucker comes from. This guy's mom is like just an old, cheap Hispanic lady. Like, he was raised, well, I'm not going to lie, his dad actually had like a good job. He had a little bit of a silver spoon. But his parents were like normal people. You know what I mean? His dad wasn't rich. He just was better off than like a baby upper mid class type shit, you know? This guy's mom is trying to steal things everywhere she goes. You can't be an elite when you have that deep within you, bro. You can't be. You can't go to Trump's house and you end up stealing one of those glass cups, or your mom does, it's over for you. You know, you're never going to be invited back to the global elites ball or whatever it is. You know, you're never going to be that guy.
Not just that, it's a corporation. You don't think of it as an individual. This is a company that's going to fuck you over. That's why people don't feel bad stealing from work.
Yeah.
You know, you don't feel like you're stealing. Like, if someone was working in your house and they were stealing from you, like they stole your forks, like, where's my fucking fork?
Yeah,
like, this is bullshit.
I like
and
it.
then you find out a guy who worked for you stole your fork, you're like, you're fucking fired. But if an office, if like someone like takes a fork home, like if you have a kitchen in your office, we use a bunch of forks for the staff.
Yeah.
And someone takes that fork, it's no big deal.
It's the office's fork.
We just need to order more forks, man. These fucking forks keep disappearing. And you go over Tom's house one day, and like Tom's got 4 of the office forks. Like, did you steal the office forks? I forgot.
I forgot.
Look, that's crazy. That Joe is another one of these disconnected motherfuckers, dude. So Joe thinks that everybody who works in an office just goes around stealing the fucking forks and stuff like that because it's the offices. Who cares? I work in an office. I've never stolen a fork from my job. I've never taken anything from the office and been like, this is cool because it's the company's. That's not how you do shit, bro. Any normal person who fucking has a moral thought in their head and values their job, they're not doing that. Joe thinks that people that work in offices are like, everyone's so down and out because they're not as rich as him. They're all just taking fucking everything that they possibly can. They go, fuck it, the company will pay for it. We're all hooligans. We're all not rich. We don't have that 100 mil Spotify money. That's crazy to think about. This is going to segue into Tom being like, my mom does that all the time. She does that with everybody's shit. Everywhere she goes, she's stealing shit.
Bullshit. I like it. And then you find out a guy who worked for you stole your fork, you're like, you're fucking fired. But if an office, if like someone like takes a fork home, like if you have a kitchen in your office, we use a bunch of forks for the staff.
Yeah.
And someone takes that fork, it's no big deal.
It's the office's fork.
We just need to order more forks, man. These fucking forks keep disappearing. And you go over Tom's house one day, and like Tom's got 4 of the office forks. Like, did you steal the office forks? I forgot. I just keep forgetting to bring them back.
Now he uses Tom in the fucking analogy. Tom's like, oh, funny you mentioned that because my mom, she does that.
Because they don't belong to somebody.
Right, exactly. It's not a human.
Yeah.
It's a corporation, which is also why corporations can act like fucking psychopaths.
Yeah.
Because they're also not a human, so they can just do whatever the fuck they have to do, which is why our food supply is so bad. Because they're just trying to maximize profit. They literally have a duty to maximize profit.
My mom definitely thinks of corporations as they can deal with it.
Of course.
And I remember my dad used to tell this story that when they first got married, they were at a Holiday Inn and they were leaving. And then he was like, what is that in the suitcase? And it was their towels. And she was like, the towels. And he's like, you can't take that. She was like, why? Because it belongs to the Holiday Inn. It's theirs. And she was like, they have them, like 100 of them.
What the fuck?
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is where this guy came from. He came from that woman who's stealing towels from the hotel like the shit is nice. Like that's what you do. This is why you can never be a croissant, Tom Segura. As much as you want to, you will never be a French croissant with a Rolex. It's not going to happen. I want to punch him. He's wearing like the same glasses as me. I want to punch him. So when you guys watch this show, you guys want to punch me because of the glasses? Like these are punchable ass glasses, bro. Punchable as a mother, dude. I can't even get over it. God. Now listen, they talk about Kanye's new song. The one we talked about last week, the Heil Hitler. You know, this motherfucker copyright claimed my videos. Copyright claimed them. What are you trying to do, Kanye? You want people to spread the word or not? It's kind of fucked up. I go on my YouTube. They were good for like 3 days. I go back on there. All of a sudden, yo, you got copywritten by Ye. Ye coming up and copywriting your shit, my dude. It's kind of fucked up. I was like not expecting that. I thought me and Ye were cool, you know, after that Sneeko stream. But let's listen to them talk about Kanye's new song.
My God, that's so funny. Speaking of the Jews, have you seen fucking Kanye's new song?
Bro.
What?
Here's the thing.
What?
My
First of all, kind of catchy.
Well, that's the problem with it. That's the problem. It's like the guy from production,
kind of
like
catchy.
he's never lost a step. He can make a beat.
That's it right there. Joe Rogan fully endorses Kanye West's new song. You heard it here first, man. Joe Rogan fully endorsing Kanye. He goes, it's kind of catchy. And I'm not going to lie, if you haven't heard it yet, it's the catchiest rap song you're going to hear all year. So if you don't want to get the words Heil Hitler stuck in your head, don't listen to it. But if you don't mind, then I'm telling you, it's quite the banger. Listen to Joe Rogan. He fully endorses this.
His new song?
Bro.
What?
Here's the thing.
What?
My
First of all, kind of catchy.
Well, that's the problem with it. That's the problem. It's like the guy from production, like he's never lost a step. He can make a beat. He can, like, he's so talented.
He's a genius.
He's a talented producer, man. I do think it's like, first of all, I think people are kind of done asking him questions because most of the shit he puts out is like self-released kind of commentary or thoughts. Because he's saying just fucking crazy, you know.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
But there is a thing where that song is like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing for real?
It's the ultimate.
Ooh, now look, this is gonna be a very, very funny moment here. So Tom Segura, you know, he wants to make movies, right? You heard him say that earlier. Now, what everyone in the movie business, you know, comedians try not to be like this, but everybody in the movie business that's like deep Hollywood, they're all like liberal pussies. There's nothing wrong with being that. You be what you want. It's not a big deal. You accept the criticism. Hey, look, we all got free speech, man. We could make fun of you for being a lib. We could also make fun of you for being a Trump-toting bitch. You know what I mean? They both go hand in hand. You could make fun of both sides here. But because Tom wants to be he wants to be the next Quentin Tarantino of comedy, he has to play ball. He has to be this like new liberal bitch. He has to go, yo, man, I thought the song was catchy, bro, but like you talking about the Jews, bro, like they're gonna be the ones financing all the movies that I'm trying to make. So like, when I heard the song, I was like, you know, what is he doing, bro? You know, no, you should be thinking about this in a comedy sense. You should be like, dude, I heard the song. It was the funniest thing I'd never heard anything funnier than that. Because when you think about it, that's the most hilarious thing that you could possibly do as a rapper is to make a song so catchy that no matter what the words were, everyone who hears it will be singing it. That is the most hilarious thing that you could do. So now, how do you take that scenario on its face is hilarious. How do you make it even funnier? I got an idea. Let's make the 3 words of the chorus of the most catchiest song ever N-word Heil Hitler. That'll do him. That ought to do him. That ought to do him. And now, Mr. Segura over here, being a little bitch, he can't see the humor in that. All he's thinking about are the Jews that are going to finance his movies. You know what I mean? But he's not talking to just any old Joe Schmo. He's talking to Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan is a right-wing nut now. He's full Trump. He hates trans and he loves Israel and he wants Gaza to become hotels. Golden-plated hotels with statues of Trump and transsexual Arabs eating pitas out of gold bowls. That's what Joe wants now. So you're going to see these two have colliding thoughts on this, and this is going to be very good. Watch this.
First of all, I think people are kind of done asking him questions because most of the shit he puts out is like self-released kind of commentary or thoughts. Because he's saying just fucking crazy,
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
But there is a thing where that song is like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing for real?
It's the ultimate pushing back.
Yeah, I guess. But there is like I
see. Look now, what is Tom gonna do? What is Tom gonna do? He thought that Joe was gonna like go in with him on this thought. No, bro. You're talking to a different guy. You don't even know the dude who's sitting across the table from you right now. You have no idea who he is. This guy is not the This is not the Joe Rogan experience that you thought it was gonna be, Tom. This is not it. Look, watch Tom go. He's like, "What are you doing, man? What are you doing?" Like thinking that Joe's gonna go, "Yeah, I know, man. It's like crazy, bro. It's like." You think you know a guy, and then like Kanye West just comes out, he's like hating on Jews and stuff like that. It's like, that's insane, bro. Like, I'm like a lib, bro. You thought that was it. You thought the shit was sweet, didn't you? Didn't you, Tom? No. That's not what's happening here. You're talking to Joe 2.0. This is golden plated Joe.
That song is like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing for real?
It's the ultimate pushing back.
Yeah, I guess. But there is like I think I have a pretty, let things go kind of vibe to me. Right?
Obviously,
yeah.
You don't. He doesn't. Look, Joe's gonna be like, you made the craziest show on Netflix. He didn't.
Let things go kind of vibe to me. Right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Your fucking show.
Yeah.
Your show's ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous show. And I've always been like, yeah, say whatever you're going to say. But I do think like making a catchy song about that, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like you're just getting, at a minimum, you're just going to get more people that think it's cool to say Heil Hitler. Like,
that's hilarious, bro. Like, what are you talking? Like, this is what I'm talking about. It's funny. It's funny. You shouldn't be all fucked up over this. This guy's like in distress over this. He's like, we can't have people saying that, bro. Because then the Jews are going to go into hiding and they're not going to finance my movies anymore, man. He wants to make movies. That's the only reason he's saying all of this. That, in my opinion, allegedly, whatever you want to call it, to be legally acceptable. I don't know. This guy wants to make movies. He will take wieners and put them deep into his mouth to finance his passion projects. Because when he was first coming up, he knew deep down inside, he's like, I'm going to have to do something else to make a name for myself to then get people to be on my side about this whole making movies thing. I don't want to put in all that work. Quentin Tarantino didn't fucking go, oh, I'll do comedy. And then, after I do comedy and the Groundlings and fucking SNL for a little while, then I'll make Pulp Fiction. He didn't do that. He went straight into the dream. He held on to his one true passion and he stuck with it. And that's how we got all this shit. You went an alternate route. And now what? You're going to give us fucking Black Sheep 2? Huh?
Ladies and gentlemen,
I think not, motherfucker. Look at this asshole, dude. Let Kanye live, man. This shit's hilarious. Everybody singing Heil Hitler like this.
Go kind of vibe to me. Right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Your fucking show.
Yeah.
Your show's ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous show. And I've always been like, yeah, say whatever you're going to say. But I do think like making a catchy song about that, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like you're just getting, at a minimum, you're just going to get more people that think it's cool to say Heil Hitler. Like that's at the minimum.
Well, I think that's part of the program. I think it's part of what he's trying to do.
But I mean, is that
Joe
cool
gets it.
to do? I guess if you're like, well, it's fun to troll the masses and get them to do that. Okay, but what I'm saying is that like at a minimum, you're going to get less educated.
Look at this. This is what I don't like. Who the fuck does Tom Segura think he is? Watch this. You probably didn't catch this at first, and this is why this podcast makes you take a second look at what you just watched. You probably didn't catch this at first. Tom Segura is like trying to make this point, right? He has like a pen in one of his hands, like as if he's like a scholar. He's like, yeah, but I have this pen. I'm trying to make my point. And it's like, we can't have people saying bad stuff about the Jews because I got this pen in my hand. So it makes my whole point like more serious, man. Watch
part
this.
Of the program. I think it's part of what he's trying to do.
But I mean, is that cool to do? I guess if you're like, well, it's fun to troll the masses and get them to do that. Okay.
What are you doing with this fucking pen in your hand, bro? What are you doing? What does it, this is what I'm saying. What is the reason for this pen being here? Why does he have this pen in his hand? Was he writing notes down? If you are, that's very rude to be doing in the middle of a podcast. What is the pen for, dude? It's like he's using this pen as like a prop to kind of like make his point more like professional. You know what I mean? He's like, I always have a pen because I'm a professional. I'm a professional comedian. I'm writing in my joke book like all the time. Put the joke book away. This is not the time for joke books, okay? So we definitely know that that's not why the pen's there. So what is the pen doing there? And then he has the audacity to wear a Rolex to the podcast. Joe never wears a fucking Rolex. That's the one thing I'll give Joe. It's like you'll never see Joe wearing some Rolex-y type bullshit on his show. Unless it's like a joke. You know? Everyone else goes on his podcast. They're wearing like Tony dude, wait until I show you Tony Hinchcliffe's outfit on Club Random. Holy shit. Everyone comes in there dressed like a fucking 23-year-old kid. Joe wears like a G-Shock. You know? Like that's it. He wears like a $30 watch. That's the one thing I'll give to him. Only one who's cheaper than that is Mark Norman. Now what's the pen for, Tom? Trying to make this point. And Joe, I love Joe's counterpoint. He goes, yeah, of course people are going to say Heil Hitler. That's like the whole point of the song. What did you think? He was trying to do something else? Like Joe actually understands it. Tom's sitting here like as if he's fucking what's that crippled dude? That crippled scientist. How am I forgetting that crippled ass scientist's name? The one who's like in the chair. And he's like, you know? It doesn't matter. Tom thinks he's like a fucking scholar trying to make this point to him.
To do, I guess if you're like, well, it's fun to troll the masses and get them to do that. Okay. But what I'm saying is that like at a minimum, you're going to get
Stephen Hawking,
less educated people to go like, this is a fun thing to say. And you're like, I mean, is that good? You really want people just walking around being like, you know, it's tight, man. Heil Hitler. Like, that's fucking insane.
Yes.
It's crazy.
That was
it
the
is
point.
Crazy. But it's also kind of a sign of the times.
I guess.
Yeah.
This is a chaotic world we're living in.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this kind of highlights the benefits. I mean, I want to say this like carefully because I don't want to think I want to say real clearly. I don't support people saying that. I don't think
Sounds
it's a good
like
thing
you
to
do.
say.
No.
I don't say it. I certainly don't think any racism is good.
He's lying. Not about the racism part. He probably doesn't think racism is good. I don't want to put that on him. He's lying about the fact that he's never said it. The second that the song came out, we all said it. We all said it. And we said the N-word, all behind closed doors. Every single person that's heard that song has said the N-word and Heil Hitler, all behind closed doors. I'm getting to a point to where, like, I'm scared I'm going to accidentally start singing it in the fucking grocery store. Or, like, somewhere in public, like I'm waiting in a doctor's office or something like that. And I'm going to start singing it out loud. Like, that's how catchy this song is. It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing. But it's awesome. I agree with Joe. It's great. This is the times that we live in. And look, Joe, I love how he says that. He goes, yeah, it's a sign of the times, man. He's saying that like he relishes in this moment. Like he's in full support of the Heil Hitler. But of course, as a disclaimer for Spotify and all of his other sponsors and stuff, he goes, let me be clear. I don't support this. I've never said it, except for when I'm singing it in my car. And yeah, everything else is hunky-dory.
It is crazy, but it's also kind of a sign of the times.
I guess.
Look at him.
Yeah.
This is a chaotic world we're living in.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this kind of highlights the benefits. I mean, I want to say this like carefully because I don't want to think I want to say real clearly. I don't support people saying that. I don't think it's a good thing to say.
No.
I want to make sure I keep my sponsors. So I want to say this isn't cool, but I do sing it every chance I get when no one else is around and when the cameras are off.
I don't say it. I certainly don't think. I don't think any racism is good. I don't think anti-Semitism is good. I don't think anti-Christianity is good. I don't think Asian hate is good. I don't think anything is good. But there's a benefit to just letting people talk. Like, let people say whatever the fuck they want to say, even if it sucks. This is the benefit of Twitter. But this is also the bad part. It's like the fucking song has so many millions of hits on Twitter. It's been banned from every platform. Yeah. But is it good to ban things from platforms, or is it better to...
You know why it's got so many hits on Twitter, even though it's been banned everywhere else? It's because when Kanye, when Elon heard that shit, Elon was like, oh, man, he's like, I've been Heiling Hitler this whole time. He's like, I've been trying to do it under the radar, you know what I mean? Trying to make it, like, inconspicuous. I say my heart goes out to them before I do it, and then I blast one off. Everyone thinks that I'm just retarded. He's like, I've been Heiling Hitler this whole time. So when that song came out, dude, Elon was like, hit the button. The one that boosts activity on the post, he goes, hit that one for that guy. Hit it like 9 times. Boost the fuck out of it. As a matter of fact, put the song behind me doing the Heil Hitler at the speech and blast and just keep that going on a loop. I want it on every single person who logs in its timeline. I want it 100 times on there. Can you do that for me? Technician guys, can you do that for me? And of course, they all got to do it because they all want to keep their job. That's why you heard it so much on Twitter.
Let it be out there and let people talk about it, because if you ban it, then people want to hear it more.
That's true.
And then it becomes more popular, and then it kind of supports what he says, which is that there's this concerted effort, if you talk about Jewish people, that they're going to remove you from everything, remove you from banking, which is what he's saying. They run everything. Mm-hmm. So if they didn't, like if it was just you were talking shit about Puerto Ricans, look what happened to Tony. Nothing.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
I went on a full riot when Tony made that joke. I was out in the streets protesting everywhere by myself. As soon as I heard that Puerto Rican joke, I was like, this is not cool. I made it my life's mission to end Tony, and that's why I talk about him all the time on the show. Okay? So we all cared. We all cared, Joe. We all cared. But Joe's making an interesting point here. Because as soon as that Heil Hitler song came out, they banned it off of everything. Spotify, Apple Podcast, or Apple Music, like anything music that you could think of that like wasn't Twitter, you couldn't find the song on there. But the funny thing is, he doesn't say this, but I went and checked. There are like full-blown like racist songs that you can still find on every single one of these platforms where the racism is geared towards black people. I'm talking full-blown N-word in the chorus, sung by a white man. This is all I'm talking. There's a song titled "Johnny the Fat Lipped N-word," right? That you could go and you could find on these streaming platforms still. But you can't find Heil Hitler. It's a little suspicious. I'm just saying you could, and this. I think that the guy who sang that song that I just read the title for, I think the guy's name is like Johnny Rebel or something, or like Tommy Rebel or some the most racist that you could possibly think of. You could listen to them all. You can find them. They're out there. Trust me. So now this guy is kind of making some sense here. He goes, it's kind of crazy that they're pulling it off of all these platforms. Everybody's blasting it on Twitter. He goes, if you would have just let it be, nobody would even think about it. And this is what's going to strengthen that point, is that I just told you about this Johnny the Fat-Lipped N-word song, right? Nobody like banned it or anything like that. Nobody talks about it. You probably didn't even know it exists until I said something about it. Who cares? You left it alone and people were just like, oh, that's fucked up. Let our lives go on. Everyone wants to feel like they're doing something that they're not allowed to do. Every single person that you could possibly think of on this planet has that in them at least a little bit. So when you ban it, everyone wants to listen to it because they all want to do something that they know they're not supposed to be doing. And listening to that song when it's banned, is essentially harmless. Essentially, like if you listen to it, no one's gonna die. You know what I mean? It's not like you're listening to like the audio of someone getting murdered or something, and you're like, oh, I gotta listen to that. Like that's a little psychotic, right? But anyone who wants to listen to a band song where the chorus is Heil Hitler, it's like, it's kind of like has a little bit of a harmless tone to it, right? You know, it's like the message is strong and it's fucked up, but listening to the song is not going to make someone's house explode. So that's kind of like the point that he's trying to make here.
Becomes more popular, and then it kind of supports what he says, which is that there's this concerted effort, if you talk about Jewish people, that they're going to remove you from everything, remove you from banking, which is what he's saying. They run everything. Mm-hmm. So if they didn't, like if it was just you were talking shit about Puerto Ricans, look what happened to Tony. Nothing.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if there's certain people that you're allowed to pick on and make jokes about or mock or say something, and you can get away with it.
Yeah. Well, I think he's made his point. I think we all get it now.
It's never going to end.
Yeah.
But how does it end? This is the question. When I was watching that song, first of all, I was by myself. When I first saw the song, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, no way.
Yeah. No.
It's like, no way. No way. And I'm watching on my phone. I'm like, yo. And then my first thought was, how does this end?
Joe Rogan was like, yo, this shit is fire, bro. Like, I can't get over the beat, dude. It's so catchy. It's so fucking catchy. Now, watch. He's going to make the same point I made last week. They're going to kill this man. They're going to kill Kanye, bro. I'm telling you. That's the only way. It's not going to end. I'll say it 1,000 times. It's not going to end until you put an end to Kanye. That's how this is going to end.
I'm like, yo. And then my first thought was, how does this end? Mm-hmm. Because this ends. This is going to end. There's going to come a time where they're going to realize, like, this is a problem.
Yeah.
So how does it end? Does it end in assassination? Does it end in
There's definitely people that want to kill him.
Financial ruin?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know what his financial situation is. I know that, like, there's been all these, over the last 5 years, there's been times where, like, his, net worth has been reported at like such a crazy amount, and then I remember like funds were frozen and he was like, I don't have anything, and then it was like all back. I don't know what his financial situation is.
Well, they can't steal your money,
yeah,
but they can debank you.
Yeah, where no one will bank with you.
Right.
Basically.
So it's like, how does that work? Like, where
he mentioned all that in his song. He said, first they took my kids from me, then they closed my bank account. Got so much hate in me, got no place to let it out. See, I got the song stuck in my head right now. Feel like I'm stuck in the Matrix. Where the fuck's my nitrous? Yes, I'm a cuck. I like when people fuck on my bitch. It's stuck in my head. It's stuck in my head. I'm telling you.
Where do you get your ATM card?
Yeah.
Is it from the Bank of fucking Portugal? Like, what do you have to do? Like, how does that work?
You know what I thought about when I was watching that video? I was like, how do you get, I don't know, however many actors.
That's easy. That's the easy part.
I think it's crazy. I think a lot of people would be like, what?
Oh, that's the easy part. You put out a casting call in LA, everyone's soulless. They have no fucking soul.
Nuts.
They just want to get famous. You're going to do a project with Kanye? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that and black people notoriously don't like Jewish people. So let's give it up for Joe Rogan and Tom Segura making the points that we all wish we could make ourselves, Sometimes you need a good old strong voice like Joe Rogan to help you really work out the feelings that you get when you hear a song like Heil Hitler. You kind of need somebody like that to help walk you through that. It's like one of those shamans when you go on a little bit of an ayahuasca trip. Kind of nice, you know what I mean? So let's move on to the next segment. If you got any smokes, smoke them up. I'm indulging myself right now, getting ready to listen to Ethan Klein mention Mr. Tony Hinchcliffe. I like this. We don't have a full-blown Ethan Klein section today, or segment, I should say. We're not going to do a full-blown Ethan Klein segment, but I did want to show you this little time code of Ethan mentioning Tony Hinchcliffe before we get into Tony's appearance on Club Random. So have yourself a couple smokes, listen to a couple tunes while we get ready for this next segment here on Lost Docs Media.
All for one for all.
funny impression.
Welcome back to Lost Ox Media. Had to take a little bit of a break there, get our smokes in, get our bathroom breaks in, you know, before we move on to these next segments. We're going to be getting into Ethan Klein mentioning our own favorite Tony Hinchcliffe. Give it up for Mr. Hinchcliffe, yeah. Listen to this. I love this. Like I said, we don't got a full-blown What's Eating Ethan Klein section, but Ethan kind of points out something about Tony that I feel like I've been saying since this show started. And, you know, it's funny. I get so many comments defending Tony. All these kill Tony diehards, you know what I mean? It's like, I know I'm not the only one. I knew I wasn't the only one. It must be an IQ thing. You have to have a certain IQ, you know what I mean? And me and Ethan, we're sitting right around 120. You know, 120. Feeling nice. Listen to Ethan talk about our own Tony Hinchcliffe.
Their dude, yeah, SNL has like always been a mixed bag, and a lot of times it's pretty cringe. But their dude who they have play Trump, I really
this guy?
Yeah.
See, I've never even seen this guy in my life. I'm so far behind.
He's, you know, everybody's got a Trump impression. I think he's the GOAT. He actually.
You know who's my favorite?
Now, if you're watching right now, they're talking about. Obviously, you heard it. They're talking about SNL's guy that does the Trump impression, and they got the guy on screen. This guy is more of a shoo-in for, like, Bill Clinton, if you ask me. Like, every time I've ever seen this guy and they have him doing Trump, I'm like, why do you have him doing Trump, dude? Have him do, like, Bill Clinton or something like that. I mean, I get it, you know, it's not like SNL's got much in their arsenal, so they need a Trump, you know, to stay funny and relevant. Because Trump really, I mean, you get him on anything, whether you're making fun of him in parody or you get him live in the flesh. You get him on anything, it's hilarious, you know? So I always seen this guy. I always was like, this guy is more of a Bill Clinton, but I guess they need a Trump. So, you know, you gotta work with what you got. But you're about to hear Ethan talk about his favorite Trump person, and that's where we're going to get him giving us his thoughts on Mr. Hinchcliffe.
And, you know, everybody's got a Trump impression. I think he's the GOAT. He actually.
You know who's my favorite?
Very good.
By far is got to be what's that comedian's name who's on Kill Tony and
Shane Gillis.
Yeah, Shane Gillis.
His actually is pretty good.
It's
yeah, it is very good.
It's very fucking.
Yeah. And the guy that does Biden, Adam Ray, he's fucking spectacular too.
Yeah, I hate to give it to those guys, but sometimes it's funny.
Yeah.
Although it's never because of Tony. Have you?
What the fuck?
Hey, yo, what? What? Mr. Klein waking me up. I almost fell asleep there for a second. Mr. Klein, you can't say that about a guy like Tony, dude. He'll roast you. He's a roast comedian. He'll roast you. He'll make fun of you so goddamn hard. It'll make you want to like commit suicide. You'll end up doubling up on your SSRIs. Remember when Bill Burr fucked you up? You guys know that? This is crazy. I don't mean to make fun of a guy for his slights, but this is insanity how weak-minded this fucking Ethan is. He had one bad podcast with comedian Bill Burr. The guy fucking goes on antidepressants. He's been on them ever since. The guy makes an ass out of him on his own show. One time, you can't deal with that in showbiz. In YouTube biz, maybe I should say. Because it's not the same as showbiz. Not as many Jews involved. So, this guy gets one fucking ass kicking on his show by Bill Burr. It changes the guy's entire life. He's going on SSR. I feel like Bill Burr is actually practically responsible for the Ethan Klein that we see here today. The one that's been molded and shaped by pills and therapy and his Israeli wife. You know, I refuse to say her name. I'm doing like this whole Hassan Piker thing now where I strictly call her Ethan's wife. We're not calling her by her name anymore. But she talks like this. If you know, then you know. So I love that. Ethan making this point. He goes, you ever notice that everyone who's funny, it's like all the funny stuff that happens on Tony's show, it's never because of Tony.
Yeah. And the guy that does Biden, Adam Ray, he's fucking spectacular too.
Yeah. I hate to give it to those guys, but sometimes it's funny.
Yeah.
Although it's never because of Tony. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Yes.
It's never because of Tony. But, I mean, it's his show. He's the curator.
Sure.
It's his show. He's the curator. He should only be like the funniest fucking guy on it. You know, these are Ethan's words, not mine. So don't come after me, Mr. Hinchcliffe. When you go on your roasting tirade because you heard someone say that you're not funny, and then you actually look in the mirror and come to grips with the fact that you actually aren't. But yeah, so that's Ethan's words on Mr. Tony Hinchcliffe. Let's check out Tony on good old Club Random. This is a good one because both of these guys are fucking cucks. So this is like what happens. This is kind of like what happens when you get two gay guys in the room that want to be the center of attention. You know what I mean? They're both gonna say like they're gonna prod at each other and shit like that and try to. They're like clip farming each other almost in this. It's kind of funny. So of course, Tony. He wants to suck his own dick every chance he gets, right? And Bill wants to be like this awkward, ask you the most like tough questions kind of guy, but Bill's not very good at it. He like always comes off like creepy and weird rather than being like a like upfront dude who's going to ask you the hard-hitting questions, you know? He'll ask you a hard-hitting question but in the most creepy way possible. And it like throws everyone off. Do you remember our episode where we covered him and his interview with Hawk Tua? This guy like just met the girl. He's trying to get her to be like a sex therapist on his podcast. She's like fucking 19 years old. He's like 58. Maybe even older than that. I think he's like 98 or 92, something like, I don't know. So it makes for an awkward episode, if you know what I'm saying. So, of course, we have to skip past...
pre-alcohol...
Hey, shut the fuck up. We have to skip past 2 full fucking minutes of ads, dude. The guys like Bill Maher, dude, they start the show with like 18 minutes of ads every single time. It throws you off. Like when I hear that, it makes me not even want to listen to the episode. It's crazy. But let's check out the intro. This is Tony Hinchcliffe on Club Random with Bill Maher.
I'm here. Hello.
Place swept up.
How's it going, my man?
How are you?
Good. So nice to meet you.
Tony
Hinchcliffe, Bill Maher. A pleasure to meet you.
Oh, the insult comic. I can feel the barbs coming.
This is crazy, bro. I almost like fell out for a second. I forgot what I was doing. I went off into La La Land, dude. So look at Tony's outfit right here. This is absolutely ridiculous. Or as Tony would say, incredible. This is absolutely incredible. I don't even know what half of this stuff is. I'm not rich, you know, but he's wearing like the hugest Doc Martens you've ever seen, a pair of camo pants, a bright green Letterman members only jacket. Of course, he's got a rose gold Rolex on and a pair of glasses that say Burberry on the side. But these are like I don't even know what to call these glasses. They're kind of like the ones I'm wearing now, but like yellow. And it makes him look stupid as hell with his giant ass teeth and his stupid little Spaniard mustache. Look at that thing. That thing. Shave it off, bro. It doesn't even connect to the chin. Shave it off. And of course, you listen to the intro. Bill's like, Tony, are you there? He's like, hello, I'm here. Dude, his voice drives me nuts. Listen to this.
Guest here?
I'm here. Hello.
Place
I'm here.
swept
Hello.
up.
How's it going, my man?
How are you?
Good. So nice to meet you.
Tony.
Tony Hinchcliffe. Bill Maher. A pleasure to meet you.
Oh, the insult comic. I can feel the barbs coming. Should I not sit in the front row?
No, you're safe. You're
if I'm
safe.
in the front row, am I going to get spritzed with the comic barbs? You're not going to ask me where I'm from?
No crowd work on you.
No, come on. Do some crowd work. Ask me where I'm from.
Where are you from?
New Jersey. Come on. There's a slow pitch down the middle of the plate, bro.
Yo, so look at this. This is what I'm talking about. This is like a prime example of how I described Bill, where he wants to ask you like hard-hitting questions or put you into like awkward situations where like you got no choice but to be real, man. But he does it in like the weirdest way. Bill is a comedian, right? And he's going to sit here and ask another comedian to do crowd work on him when it's just the two of them in the room. And it's literally just the two of them in this room. This is not, Bill's podcast is not like other podcasts where they have like a producer sitting maybe like 10 feet away at some desk with a computer and they can talk to the producer. They go, hey man, pull that up. Or like Theo Von's producer's in another room, but there's like a glass wall there. You can see the guy. They have the headphones. You can talk to the guy. Bill's podcast is not like that. Bill's show has like security cameras in his basement of his house. And when you go down there, you expect to see other people to like be messing with the lighting and stuff. No one's there. It's just you. You're by yourself. So when there's no one here at all, except for these two men, both of them being comedians, if you knew a comedian, or you can hear them talk about it on podcasts sometimes, they don't like it when someone goes, oh, you're a comedian? Tell me a joke. Why? Because their jokes are not like knock, knock, who's there? It's like a setup, a premise. Sometimes they tell it in story format. You know, you have to really talk these things through to understand the punchlines of these jokes. So it's not like, oh, you're a comedian, tell me a joke. And then the infamous Tony Hinchcliffe is going to go, knock, knock, who's there? You know, they don't do that. That's not how it works. So they should know not to do that to each other, or so you think, right? So Bill's going to completely put his head up his ass and maybe not even realize what he's doing and ask Tony to do crowd work on him right as soon as they sit down. Watch this. This is crazy as fuck.
Oh, the insult comic. I can feel the barbs coming. Should I not sit in the front row?
No, you're safe. You're
if I'm
safe.
in the front row, am I going to get spritzed with the comic barbs? You're not going to ask me where I'm from?
No crowd work on you.
No, come on. Do some crowd work. Ask me where I'm from.
Where are you from?
New Jersey.
Where are you from?
There's a slow pitch down the middle of the plate, bro. New Jersey.
That is a shithole, indeed.
Well, come on, you could do better than a shithole, isn't that what you're famous
warm up.
for?
I like.
This guy doesn't want to do this shit. He doesn't want to do crowd work on you by himself in the middle of your basement. Tony is, for once in his life, he's scared he might get tied up and gagged. Bill Maher might be the one fucking dude in Hollywood that Tony doesn't want to fuck. And he's stuck in Bill's basement alone right now, being asked to do crowd work by Bill. It's like he obviously doesn't want to do it, you know. And you could hear Tony answer. He goes, "Oh yeah, where are you from?" Like when he goes, "Come on, ask me where I'm from." He goes, "Oh yeah, well actually no, really. Like where are you from?"
On you.
No, come on, do some crowd work. Ask me where I'm from.
Where are you from?
New Jersey. Come on. There's a slow pitch down the middle of the plate, bro. New Jersey.
That is a shithole, indeed.
Well, come on, you could do better than the shithole. Isn't that what you're
Maybe I'll
famous
warm up.
for?
I like to feel the people and know them a little bit better than just straight
Oh,
off.
ask me what I do. And then I say nothing, and you say, "How do you know when you're done?" And then tip your waitress.
That's it.
So you came up through the clubs, right?
Yes, I
still
started
in the clubs.
Yep.
Look, Bill, of course he does all that stupid shit, and then he goes, "You came up in the clubs, right?" I know all about that. I came up in the clubs too. So you should know then to not ask about that. I love that because if Bill got asked that, like if Tony would have sat down and been like, "Oh, Bill, do some crowd work on me," Bill would have been like, "Oh, really? Oh, really? You want me to do crowd work on you, really?" Like, that's what we're doing right now? I'm Bill fucking Maher. So stupid, dude. I hate it. So now, look, they get to talking about Tony's Puerto Rico joke, right? Listen to this. I love it.
Who was, I don't know if, you should tell me, I'm very curious. Your reputation now is as a right winger because you did the Trump rally and told the Puerto Rico joke, which is a great joke. You know, yeah.
It was in the mix. It's a whole fucking conundrum. You would love to know the story because you would really understand it from a comedian's perspective. Like, I'm going there to kind of, you know, to do this thing about how, you know, free speech, this and that, and make those kinds of jokes. But I had a whole thing written and planned, you know, to go into the teleprompter. And that Puerto Rico joke was actually a joke that I had done a bunch in my stand-up, and it's part of a bigger joke with more front end and a longer back end. And
like what? I'm curious.
Well,
damn, Bill just almost lit his goddamn face on fire. Did you see that? God damn. Look, so Tony's sitting here making excuses for his lame ass Puerto Rico joke, which we all hated. Tell everyone. If they liked it, they tell them why they should hate it. And then Bill goes to light up like his cigarilla or whatever the hell this thing is that he's smoking on. Almost lights his whole face on fire like an old man. This is like how you expect an old man to act.
Front end and a longer back end.
Look at Bill.
And
like what? I'm
God
curious.
damn. When have you ever seen me fucking almost light my whole entire face on fire when I'm sparking up one of these J's? One of these blunts, these L's.
Front end and a longer back end. And
like what?
God damn. All right. Yeah, let's give it up for Bill. So look, the only reason I wanted to show you that is just to, you know, kind of show you how they're getting into it. Tony wants to throw these long excuses in there. They're about to start talking about like the politics behind the joke and everything like that. And then this is where we get into a little bit of an interesting time code because Tony talks about why he even did the Trump rally in the first place. Bill starts asking him like, well, did you get a paycheck? Like, are you a Trumper, like a full-blown Trumper? Because to me, you're like a full-blown Trumper. So you're basically like a retard. You know what I mean? Like an American retard. And like all you care about is like right-wing racism and stuff like that. So I'll still talk to you, you know. I had dinner with Trump earlier this month. We're cool. But I still think you're a bigot, you know. So they're about to start talking about all that. And then Tony's going to tell him his real agenda behind doing it.
To the evening, when I got there, I go, when am I going up in this thing? And they go, you're up first. Can you imagine?
Oh, you opened. Opened for the Trump rally.
I went up after the goddamn national anthem.
But
Bill
did you
Maher.
do it because you're a supporter of Trump or just because it's an opportunity and a paycheck? Was it a paycheck?
No, it wasn't a paycheck. I did it literally to hopefully, you know, get some, hopefully, if only 10,000, not to mention 100,000, maybe 200 if we're lucky, actual people to vote for him. Yeah.
Oh, so you did want people to vote for Trump?
Yes,
without a doubt. Look at that. So Mr. fucking Tony Hinchcliffe had this whole agenda where he wanted all of his followers to vote for Trump. That's a dangerous man. We should freeze his bank accounts like they did with Kanye. Kanye never told you who to vote for. He just told you to maybe watch out for the Jews a little bit. You know what I mean? He said, keep an eye on them. You know, we don't know about those guys over there. But he never told you who to vote for like that. He never tried to swing a whole goddamn election with this shitty comedy. He never did that. But Tony will do that. Good old Tony. Look at this asshole. Look at these Burberry sunglass things that he's wearing. I don't even know what these are. And I didn't even realize, he has the sunglass leash on the back of the sunglass. How gay are you, dude? What, are you scared they're going to fall off? If they're Burberry, they had to have been, I don't know, like $1,000, I would guess. I don't have the money for this kind of shit. And you got the leash on the back, bro? Jump off a cliff.
Okay.
I think he gets a weird rap in this world, man. And, you know.
We're going to have to break off on that point.
Look at that. Right after Tony tells his agenda, he goes, man, I think Trump gets a weird rap in this world. And then they cut to fucking commercial. Good old cut to commercial. Bill's probably like, God damn it, Tony. Now we're going to have to edit all this out. This is bullshit. You know? Now listen. This is it's a little bit of a long one. But trust me, it's worth it. So Tony, he told you how he wanted to get people to vote for Trump, right? But that wasn't the only hidden agenda of his. Listen to how pathetic this guy sounds when he talks about what else he had on his agenda for doing that rally.
No, I'm you know my thing. I talk to everybody. Yeah. And it's okay that we disagree on that. I just didn't really know until this moment that's. I thought maybe you just were doing it for a gig and because you believe in free speech, but you're not really a Trumper. But you know, I mean, I always say you can be against Trump and not hate half the people in the country who like him. And I mean, you can't write them off. This is the controversy I just went through when I had dinner with him. And to some, the very kind of woke people who always hated me because they're so woke. And
Bill, you're woke. Bill's woke. And he said, you know why he's talking like this? Like as if woke people are the devil? Is because he had dinner with Trump. Now all the woke people are hating on him. They go, dude, what happened? I thought you were on our side. What the fuck? So rightfully so, they're talking shit about it. And now this is what they do. When the woke, the left, if you will, when they start having thoughts that are considered the opposition's, even in the slightest way, they get ostracized. And once they get ostracized, the ones that are ostracized start to fucking lash back. And they go, you know what? Those guys over there aren't even all that fucking cool anyway. I never even liked them. They're all fucking garbage. I hate them.
I just have no patience for those people. Yep. And, I do think I won that one because, people understand, especially since I went right back to my job of doing what I've always done, which is criticizing him as much as I did before. It's not like I was taken in by him, but I was going to be honest. And also, I think it's great to have an open dialogue, no matter who it is. And it's just so pointlessly illogical to think, as the Democrats, some of them do, that if you have no power, which they have, you lost everything. You fucking lost everything.
Look at this guy.
And now you're also not going to talk to the people who have the power. And Trump is the kind of guy, I knew this even before I went there, but I certainly was confirmed. He's the kind of guy who everything is personal relationships.
You talking real nice about this guy that you supposedly hate, that you talk a lot of shit about on your show. This is what I'm saying. This guy he's starting to get ostracized. He's starting to get squeezed out. So now he's getting squeezed out. He goes, you know what, man? They're all crazy, bro. Like, you should be able to have dinner with the other side. I should be able to go to Trump's house and suck his dick and not have to worry about coming out and being completely criticized for it. We should all be cool. And then I'll go on my show and I'll talk shit about him because I'm a fake bitch.
Much more than, say, a guy like Obama, who was very logical and all business. And, I don't think anybody felt like they were really close to Obama personally. Maybe like Valerie Jarrett or some people around him, but not other politicians. He wanted to be friendly with everybody. But that's not this guy's different. He comes from real estate and he comes from business in New York. And
New York.
So the idea that you think you're going to do better by screaming, running out of the room, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
It's just so bizarre to me.
Yeah. Who did he do that to?
What?
I didn't see that. Who did he do that to?
Do what to?
Run out of the room saying, I'm not going to talk to you.
See, look, Tony thinks when Bill said to think people are going to run out of the room screaming, I'm not going to talk to you because you had dinner with Trump. Tony thinks that Bill is saying Trump said that. When Bill's talking about the people criticizing him, he's basically saying, like, these people expect me to, like, run out of the room screaming, like, I'm not going to talk to you instead of just having dinner with the guy. And Tony's like, whoa, wait, you're talking bad about Trump? He's like, when did he say that? I didn't hear him say that. I watch everything he does. I watch every single speech. I know every word. I've never heard him say that. Tony's, like, ready to get on the defensive here.
What?
I didn't see that. Who did he do that to?
Do what?
Look, let's go back a little bit more. Listen to this.
Running out of the room, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
It's just so bizarre to me.
Yeah. Who did he do that to?
What?
I didn't see that. Who did he do that to?
Do what to?
Run out of the room saying, I'm not going to talk to you.
They're
That's
saying
like
that to him, about him. The people who are
right.
criticizing
yes,
me.
You're exactly right.
The
And I
people who-
find that
the
to be
people
a
who
very...
say, how could he have gone to the dinner?
Oh, yeah.
Gone to the dinner?
Oh, yeah.
It's dinner at the White House. How could you not?
Exactly.
Dude, if you go to dinner at the White House, you're full right wing. You're Heil Hitler. If right now, with the way that MAGA's going, all the support to Israel and everything, you're like a Nazi, bro. If you're a Trump, if you go to dinner with Trump, you're a Trump supporter. And if you're a Trump supporter, you're a Nazi, bro. I'm sorry. That's the way it is, Bill. So, I mean, you might as well have voted for him going to dinner with him. I don't, okay. Let me put it this way. If I didn't like my neighbor, right? And I always fucking hated my neighbor's guts. I never talk about my neighbor. In fact, to my family and friends, I talk shit about my neighbor, right? Just because my neighbor got elected as mayor wouldn't mean that I would want to go to dinner with him. Okay? I wouldn't go like, oh, well, I mean, I hate the guy, but he is the mayor. It's like, no, fuck him. I don't like him. I'm not going to dinner with him. So this is why. I mean, I don't even think that this is like a left-wing criticism here. I think this is just like you being a bitch. You know what I mean? In my opinion. Like, I don't look at this situation, or I think anyone with half a brain doesn't look at this situation and go like, whoa, that's against his values, man. He's like totally going like crazy. It's like, no, they're looking at it going like, bro, weren't you just talking shit about this guy? It's hypocritical. They're not sitting there going like, we can't all get along. It's like, you the one who's throwing all the blows at him. It's not like Donald Trump is making press conferences going like, Bill Maher is the biggest fag I've ever met in my entire life. You know, he's not doing that. You're going on your show going like, yeah, really, Trump? Really? Yeah, yeah, we're supposed to go through with your policies. You're a moron. And then, okay, and now you go to dinner with him, right? People are going to have something to say about that. They're not going to sit there and go like, look at Bill, he's unifying the world. He's making peace with everybody by going to dinner with Trump. No. They're going to look at you like you're a hypocritical bitch who sold out. Like, that's the whole thing. You have a public persona, and you're building that public persona off of talking shit about this guy. Then you go to dinner with him. That's not how that works, bro. Like, you need to stick to your guns on this one. If you don't like Trump, when you get an invitation to the White House, the only way that it's acceptable to show up to that invitation is if you have like a bunch of guns and you plan on assassinating him. And you go, I did it for the gram. Because that's the kind of dude I am. I stick to my principles. I know that if I'm going to be in the same room as Trump, I'm spitting on that man's grave. That's what you need to be like. You can't be backpedaling on your shit and going to dinner with the guy like the shit is sweet. All because he's president. It's not cool.
It's, again, it would be different if I came out wearing the red hat.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, somehow this succubus, put his snake tongue down my throat, and now I'm, but that's not what happened.
Right.
And they just can't quite give it up, some of them.
Oh, I think that is a quality that is across the boards to the far left. They are absolutists in the way of if you show any respect to the president of the United States. And let's not forget, he's also a former president of the United States. So it was a guy that, like, you know, when I was going in to do that.
Tony, dude, you see Tony starting to glob him. Tony's starting to glob him. Glaze up Trump right now. He's starting to glaze him up. Wait until you hear him. This is where he's going to talk about the real agenda that he had when he did the Trump rally. He didn't just want to get people to vote for Trump. No. He had something else in mind as well. Listen to this.
Of the United States. So it was a guy that, like, you know, when I was going in to do that rally, the goal, you know, it wasn't just to swing a few, you know, 1,000 votes, hopefully, of whoever listens to my podcast or whoever liked my silly performance on the Tom Brady roast or whatever. It was also to fucking have the president go, that was cool. Thanks, man. That's awesome. I liked your set. You got the crowd going.
What the fuck?
Imagine that. Imagine. Tony seriously thought to himself, he goes, yeah, man, when I go to do this, the president's going to think that I'm awesome. Like, he's probably looking in a mirror in, like, a fucking room back there, a green room, quote unquote. They probably stuck his ass in a broom closet. And they were like, hey, man, you're about to go on stage at Madison Square Garden, dude. You got to get ready. He's sitting there looking in a mirror going, like, the president is going to think I'm so cool for doing this. I want him to say that he's proud of me. I need the president of the United States. I need his approval. Only because it's Trump. I wouldn't do this if it was Barack Obama.
To my podcast or whoever liked my silly performance on the Tom Brady roast or whatever, it was also to fucking have the president go, that was cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. That was cool. Thanks, man. And then Bill Maher's looking at him like, yo, is this motherfucker crazy? He's like, yo, it's one thing to go to dinner with Trump. He's like, did you suck Trump's dick? He's like, did you do something to that man? Sounds like you glazed him. You globbed him up real nice. You know?
That's awesome. I liked your set. You got the crowd going. Which, by the way, I did. Of course, that room isn't mic'd for a comedy show. No, he didn't.
Look at that. So Bill goes, did he end up saying all that to you? And Tony goes, no, he didn't. Now, I want to show you guys. We got to go back into our episode archives here. I'm going to go past episodes. Here, I'll actually pull up my notes right here. So you got past episodes, right? And then let's hit the search bar. I'm going to search Trump's name because we had a clip of Trump talking about Tony after he did his set. Now, remember, Tony he said, I want the president to be proud of me. I have to have the president be proud of me. It's imperative. So let's see if we could find those. Let's go. Where is it? We got to be able to find it. Because that shit was hilarious, dude. Trump's like, I know nothing about Tony Hinchcliffe. I disavow Tony Hinchcliffe. I've never met Tony Hinchcliffe in my life, as a matter of fact. I have no idea. There's no way we can't find that. I thought for sure that we'd be able to find it. Now we got my phone ringing. What's even happening here? Let's see. Let's see if we could just find it online, actually. Fuck all that. I'm sitting here giving away my goddamn notes and everything like that. Shit, I'm about to edit this out the podcast. Fuck you guys. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, all right, let's go back to our current notes that we got here so we don't get crazy. Let's see if we could find that clip of Trump disavowing Tony Hinchcliffe, dude. This one was funny, dude. Trump talks about Tony Hinchcliffe. Oh, dude, this is great. So, look, I did all that searching for nothing. I could have found it right away on YouTube. Listen to this.
After the Tony Hinchcliffe Puerto Rico joke told at Donald Trump's rally has continued to spread like wildfire, the former president was forced to address the situation during a recent interview.
Never saw him, never heard of him, don't want to hear of him. I have no idea. They put a comedian in, which everybody does. You throw comedians in. You don't vet them and go crazy. It's nobody's fault. But somebody said some bad things. Now, what they've done is taken somebody that has nothing to do with the party, has nothing to do with us, said something, and they try and make a big deal. But I don't know who it is. I don't even know who put him in.
It's safe.
Look at that. Never heard of him. Never wanted to hear about him. They just threw a comedian up there. I don't even know the comedian's name. And then Tony goes on his show, talks about how he's good friends with the Trump administration. He's trying to get Ari Maddie a citizenship. Yeah, okay. Listen to this guy.
Do that rally. The goal, it wasn't just to swing a few, 1,000 votes, hopefully, of whoever listens to my podcast or whoever liked my silly performance on the Tom Brady roast or whatever. It was also to fucking have the president go, that was cool. Thanks, man. That's awesome. I liked your set. You got the crowd going. Which, by the way, I did. Of course, that room isn't mic'd for a comedy show. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. As a matter of fact, he went far enough to say that he doesn't know you. He doesn't want to know you. He has no idea who you are, and he hopes he never, ever meets you. As a matter of fact, he hopes you die. He said all that. They edited the short. That was Joke World. Joke World. He's like, Tony Hinchcliffe just got in trouble for saying that Puerto Rico is an island of garbage. Joke World sucks, dude. I hate the fact that I get some of my comedy news from Joke World. It really fucking pisses me off. Like, I can't stand him. And he's such an innocent-looking little kid. It just, something about him, it makes me want to throw him off the top of a building or something. Can't stand him. So let's check this out. Look at Tony getting a little bit of ice for his drink.
Well, what he's doing is working.
Yeah.
As far as stopping people from coming in.
Yeah.
If you ask me, it's not worth the price.
Look at that.
It's not worth the price.
Look at Tony getting that ice.
Suspending the Constitution of the United States, which says you can't just take people off the street and put them in a foreign prison. That is just insane.
Now look, he's still getting ice.
If the message is, you know what?
He's still getting ice.
You always had a free ride. If you thought you could come here, the worst that was going to happen.
God damn, bro.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Yo, did you hear? Bill was talking for like a solid 17 minutes. And Tony was still getting ice. Dude, watch this again. Yo, all he's making is like a tequila and Coke. Calm it down, buddy. Like, what are you even doing?
It's not worth the price of suspending the Constitution of the United States, which says you can't just take people off the street.
He's still getting ice.
Put them in a foreign prison.
Bill's been talking for 13 minutes now. He's still getting ice.
But if the message is
still getting it,
you know what? You always had a free ride.
Come on, one more, Tony. You can do it.
If you thought you could come here, the worst that would
boom. That's. There's so much goddamn ice in that goddamn drink now. Give it up for the ice. Give it up for Tony's ice. Now watch. Okay, he makes the most pussy drink, dude. Watch this.
What happen is, all bets are off. Go back. No, you didn't make it. That's the worst that could happen.
Look at him. He's
probably
cracking open the Crown Royal now. He's cracking open the Crown Royal. It's still in the purple satchel.
You're just going to stay here.
Look at him.
His message is...
Look at how much he pours in there.
No.
Look at that fucking splash, dude. He put 47 ice cubes inside this tiny little rocks glass. Those things are meant to... You put like 2 ice cubes in there. If you're going to drink like a scotch or something like that, you put like 2 ice cubes in there. Now, granted, Tony, if you've been paying attention, I didn't say it, but if you paid attention to the screen, Tony's just been drinking like these Crowns and like Cokes or Pepsis or something. You see him in the bucket down there. So, granted, he's not having a Crown on the rocks, but still, you don't want to like throw an assload of ice cubes in. You if you're not chugging that drink, it's going to get watered down like crazy. It's not going to be enjoyable. I don't even drink, and I know that. You know what I mean? So Let's watch Tony take this little, like Joe Rogan likes to do with his Neuro ring. He kisses these ice cubes with just a splash of Crown. Watch this. Look at that.
If you come here and we catch you,
watch him.
It might be worse for you.
Shut up,
and,
Bill.
You know,
look at that. Watch.
That is a deterrent. It is working.
Oh no! I'm sitting here thinking that he still has to pour it in. It doesn't even look like there's any in there.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
We have to go back to see the splash. Look at this.
Probably you're just going to stay here.
It's funny when it's up close like this. Look at that
message
splash.
is,
Watch.
Well, no.
What are you doing?
If you come here,
that was nothing. That glass should be filled to the fucking brim.
Well,
look, this is where he stops. That's crazy. That glass should be 3/4 of the way full with just Crown Royal. Then you do the rest Coke or Pepsi or whatever it is, like a man. Not like a Burberry glasses wearing fucking whatever you are, Slender Man.
No. If you come here and we catch you, it might be worse for you. And, you know, that is a deterrent. It is working.
Now he's going to pour 13 cans of Coke
every
into
action has a reaction. Right. Like Biden went so fucking stupidly far toward a pretty much
Look at that. Let's give it up for Tony's drink. I still can't believe I saw him do that. And it's so funny. You'll watch Kill Tony and he'll be like, last night we were at Kid Rock's house. We got so drunk. You got drunk drinking like that? It would take 19 of those to make you feel anything. That's crazy talk. That's actually insane. You know, I can't believe it. We got to move on to the next segment. You make a drink like that, it's over, bro. I'm done with you. I can't do it anymore with you. Okay? So actually, before we move on, I want to talk about a new segment idea that I'm thinking about introducing to the show. I want to get your guys' take on it. What do you guys think? So I'm thinking about, oh, look at that. And we introed on that. So I'm thinking about a new segment idea. And I'm thinking it's going to be a call-in number. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read it off. The call-in number is going to be on the screen somewhere around here-ish when I edit the show. Basically, I'd like to do like a bad advice, or you call in, you want to talk some shit, you think you're going to leave like any kind of funny voicemail type deal. You know, it's going to be voicemail only for now. Eventually, when we start doing lives, I'll start having people call in and stuff like that. But for now, I want to do voicemails. So if you think you got a funny voicemail and you think you want to have it, I'll play it on the show. I'll do some advice, whatever the situation may be. If it's good enough, we'll play it on the show. The phone number for that, if you want to call in, is going to be 316-396-0025. So if you want to call in and leave a voicemail that you think is good enough to be on the show, if you want to get any advice for some sort of situation you got going on, you don't have to leave your name, anything like that. Whatever the situation may be, we're going to start doing our call-in voicemail segments for the show. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Once again, that number is 316-396-0025. Or if you're watching, that number will also be on the screen. And if you want to stay up to date with anything Lost Docs Media, you want to buy merch to support the show or watch full episodes, sometimes they get taken down due to copyright situations on YouTube and stuff like that. You can do so by going to lostox.media. That's lostaux.media. So, let's get into our next segment here. We're going to be talking about good old Theo Von, man. He was going through it on his show with Mr. Caleb Presley. But I don't even know if we got time for that. I'd rather just get right into the meat of it all, you know? I was gonna do this whole thing. I'll give it to you straight. My plan for this segment was gonna be, let's watch this episode that Theo Von did with Caleb Presley, right? And they were kind of fumbling through the episode. There was a bunch of different points where Theo was actually saying, like, man, we're bombing this episode, bro. Like, usually I'm way funnier than this. I'm talking about 2 stingrays in a swimsuit, skiing on the Sahara Desert. And everybody usually thinks that that's a hoot, but for some reason, I can't seem to come about my wits on this episode, and I kind of feel like we're bombing Caleb Presley. It was kind of like that the whole episode. And I was going to do a whole bit where I go, look, Theo's going through it on this episode. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to give up the bit. I can't even do it. This guy, let's just watch a couple time codes from his episode with Caleb Presley, because he genuinely was going through it in this episode. We won't get into every single one with the bombings and the stuff like that, but watch this shit. On top of Theo, like, pretty much thinking in his own head that he was bombing this episode with Caleb and that it wasn't going that good, the producer, it wasn't his typical producer, Nick. It was a different guy named, like, Riley Mao or some weird shit like that. I don't know, some Asian dude, right? This guy was, like, not in his chair anytime that he was supposed to be. Theo would be like, yo, man, pull up, like, 2 pit bulls and a guy from fucking Jamaica. And the guy wouldn't even be in his fucking chair. So he would not pull up anything that Theo was asking for the entire time. It was actually fucking insane. Watch this. This shit is wild. I would have fired this guy. Listen to this.
Hardworking, family people, fun people. I already said family. I'm running out of compliments, but they're cool.
Hey, that's fast, bro. But they have bring up the Mexican Easter Bunny. I've heard this dude is a lot of times he's like in a lucha libre mask.
Womp womp. Producer not in his chair. Womp womp. Now what, did he hear them? So now he's running back?
And he'll kidnap your tia.
Did you ever have a show like just thinking about someone in the front of their
Look at this
audience?
Theo, pull up the Mexican Easter Bunny, man. We need to get a good visual on the Mexican Easter Bunny. Me and my good friend Caleb here, my little biker babe. Yeah. And this guy's running over to the chair. Like he's over there making like a Pop-Tart or something in the break room. Theo's asking him to pull shit up. That's the first one, right? Now watch this. A couple minutes later, Theo's asking this guy to pull up shit. He's still not pulling stuff up. And now he's actually in the chair.
Yeah.
I think a lot of dudes, as they be like, oh, that fucking hot chick's got a mustache. You know?
Greta Thunberg, you already said it.
We are not. They're killing our baby bears.
How old is she now?
Bring her up.
Dude, he hasn't brought up anything you've told him to bring up yet.
I know.
Look, even Caleb's saying he hasn't brought up jack shit, bro. Look at this fucking guy. His eyes are not, he's not even awake, this guy over here. You know, this their producer. This guy is like, I think he's like 21 or 22. He just ejaculated for the first time last year. This is not a joke. I don't know if this is like a bit, but I'm saying this is what they talk about on the show. They say this guy hasn't busted a nut in like 22 of the 23 years that he's been alive. He just started. He was saving himself for God. He was a man of the cloth. So this guy, now he's busting nuts. He's not worried about this show no more. He's like, and now he's fine. That's like, remember the first time that happened for you? If you're a guy listening, you were going crazy. You were like, what do I have to do to bust as many of these as I possibly can? You know, and now this guy is living that life at 23. He's stunted. He doesn't know what to do. So Theo's asking him to pull stuff up. This guy's on Pornhub on his phone. He's not worried about the podcast. Look at that. I love Caleb goes, dude, this guy is like really fucking up.
Bring her up.
Dude, he hasn't brought up anything you've told him to bring up yet.
I know. Guys are fucking unbelievable. I said bring up a picture of the Mexican Easter Bunny. Oh, definitely, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, so Theo has to yell at this fucking guy. And then that's all that he yells at this poor Asian who's just trying to bust nuts. That's all he wants to do. All just so he can say this. Watch.
Oh, definitely, boy. Huh? ¿Dónde están mis huevos?
Oh, shit. Give it up for Theo. That was hilarious. That was totally worth you yelling at your producer for that. You know what I mean? I love it. And this guy, he was off the ball the entire time. Like, okay, look, this is where I'm talking about. Theo's like, man, I feel like we're bombing this podcast, bro. On top of his producer not doing his goddamn job. Watch.
Anyway, I feel like we're bombing today. Do you?
Bombing?
Yeah.
No.
Feel like we're doing good?
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. They're all laughing.
I'm having a fun time.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
It's great to see you.
We're happy you guys are having fun. We're not having fun. I'm trying to laugh, you know? And the producer's not pulling stuff up. You guys can't talk about jack shit. You're talking about bombing on air. You know, this is crazy. Watch, the producer drops the ball again.
Bananas is our #1 purchase.
Shoot, homie. Let's look at a news article. What happened? Anything in the news, Riley Mao? Oh, Riley Mao's here, dude. Can you have some waters for us, Riley?
I'll take a sip. I mean, this is cool with me, unless you want one. Yeah.
No, I just love to have a water. Usually we have them out here.
Look at that. Usually they have the waters out there. Now this producer's about to lose his goddamn mind. He doesn't know what to do because now Theo's like, pull up something on the news, right? And the producer's like, okay, I'm on it. And he starts getting ready to pull something up on the news. And he starts clicking and clacking on the keyboard. He starts moving the mouse around. He's like, yeah. And then Theo goes, whoa, wait a minute. He's like, yo, buddy, there's no waters out here, man. Usually we got waters out here. Like, we don't plan on drinking them. But, like, usually they're out here, man. So can we get a couple waters out here? So now this guy, he doesn't know if he's like, do I get up out of the chair to get the waters? Or do I pull up something on the news? Because I already got yelled at for not pulling up stuff. Right? Like, Theo doesn't even realize the glass case of emotion that he's putting this guy in right here by doing this. He has no idea. This guy is losing his mind. He doesn't even know what to do with himself.
I'll take a sip. I mean, this is cool with me, unless you want one. Yeah.
No, I just love to have a water. Usually we have them out here. Riley?
See you?
I was not aware.
What do you mean? You've worked on here. You've definitely worked on at least 50 episodes of this show.
Yeah, Riley.
You've worked on 50 episodes of the show. You don't know that you're supposed to put waters out there, but come on, bro. Come on, man. Like, you got to get with it. You got to get with it, Mr. Mao. Riley Mao.
Told me before he told you about his coming. And
Riley Mao's here. Let's get a gander at him first, man.
Look, now they're about to start talking about how Riley Mao, he hasn't come, man. He hasn't come in so long. So now look, it's obvious Theo's podcast it's in shambles. You know, let's be real. This guy's producer's all fucked up. This guy, he don't know what to talk about. And he's clearly losing his way. So now what happens to somebody when they start going through that kind of situation? When they feel like they're spiraling out of control? Sometimes, if you got the right person, sometimes...
Theo Von got physical with a drunk...
Hey, shut the fuck up. If you have the right person, sometimes when they're spiraling out of control, they might calmly get themselves back together and get back on track. That's if you got the right person. I don't know if Theo Von's the right person. Sometimes when you don't have the right person, they start flailing. They start attacking random people for no goddamn reason, like we're about to see Theo do right now. Wait until you see this guy. This guy has like a fan come up to him, right? And the fan seems drunk, not gonna lie. This guy has a fan come up to him and is like, yo, man, you're Theo Von, man. You're fucking awesome. You're always talking about those 3 squirrels in a jumpsuit. I love your comedy, bro. You're the fucking shit. And how does Theo fucking thank this nice fan? By choking the shit out of him. Yep. Theo Von, he wants to choke this guy, bro. This guy's just trying to get a picture with his favorite comedian. Theo's like, nah, man, fuck that. I'm about the streets tonight, bro.
Theo Von got physical with a drunk fan who would not leave him alone in a Nashville bar after the stranger got in Theo's face on camera and reportedly was harassing the comedian for hours leading up to getting his throat grabbed.
at that. Bro, how fast I would have knocked Theo Von out if he would have hit me like, or put his hand on my neck like that. Bro, like I said to you earlier, I don't even drink. But I could have been wasted out of my goddamn mind. And if I had not like gotten physical with him like that and he would have grabbed me by the neck, I would have tried. Maybe I would have been too drunk to succeed, but I would have tried. And I'll tell you what, if he would have done that when I was sober, oh, I mean, it's different. That's it. Lights out for Theo Von. Mr. Tennessee fucking... He's the only 10 I see, counting to 10, because I just knocked his ass out. See, I could do right-wing humor, too. I would have hit him with the lefty and the righty and the loosey and the goosey. But no, on some real shit, man, I would have sued him. I would have called the police. And I would have been like, hey, I'm here to report a problem. I have a dead body. I think it's Theo Von. Can you guys come over here and help me get rid of this? Because I don't want him stinking up the place. You know what I mean? But this is crazy. This is crazy. It's like, okay, the guy got in your face. I get it. But what are we doing here? It's again, I say it 1,000 times. I hate the fact that I get some of this shit from Joke World. Listen, I have to listen to him go, Theo Von got physical with a fan, and I have like 10 dildos up my ass, and this is why I talk with such a high-pitched voice.
Theo Von got physical with a drunk fan who would not leave him alone in a Nashville bar after the stranger got in Theo's face on camera and reportedly was harassing the comedian for hours leading up to getting his throat grabbed.
Jason, drop the
What is that, dude? I love Theo. He's like, yeah, man, I'm fucking tough guy, bro. Like, I'll come from around this table, dude. And I swear to God, bro, I'm always talking about peace and love in my podcast, but I clearly don't mean none of it because I'm still just a fucking redneck bitch from down south. Theo, look at Theo. What you want to do, homie? What you want to do, homie? I could picture Theo doing it. What you want to do, homie? You want to come at me like that, homie? I'll fucking choke you. What are you, 3 squirrels in a jumpsuit? I can't.
Jason, drop the
Look at him. Theo's tough as fuck, bro. Theo's about to hit that woman, too. Theo's like, I don't give a shit, bro. I'm from fucking Tennessee. My dad was like 70 years old when I was born, man. I don't even care. I don't even have any sort of like, you know, sense of love and affection because everyone around me died at like a super young age and shit. So like, I don't really gotta worry about that. You know what I mean? I'm just ready to choke a motherfucker out and get in my goddamn face. Now, when you watch that, right, it looks like the guy was drunk. It looks like he might not have like been wanting to leave Theo alone. And the guy like tapped Theo in the arm, right? Here's the thing though. This is where you kind of lose me a little bit with that. Is because like it would be understandable if Theo did that as a reactionary thing to getting his arm tapped, right? Like it would be one thing if as soon as the guy tapped his arm, Theo turned around and grabbed him and pushed him back and was like, don't fucking touch me, man. Unless you're 3 squirrels in a jumpsuit, don't fucking touch me, man. I'm from Tennessee. And then that's where that's appropriate, right? But he doesn't do that. The guy tapped him on the shoulder. Theo turned around, looked at him, sized him up, then grabbed him by the neck, threw him back, acted all tough. Here's the thing, though. There's always 2 sides to every story, right? The fan comes out with his own video explaining the situation. And apparently, it was like one of the fans' friends or something like that that was taking that video that went viral. And you don't see the before or the after, right? When this guy shows the clips, he shows that like they were like very conscious of not wanting to bother Theo before going up to him. That was recorded. They were just chilling. The guy turned out to be like a musician who was playing in like whatever bar or venue or casino that they were at. So the guy wasn't drunk because he was working prior to coming up to Theo like this. He was on stage playing guitar. You can't do that when you're wasted. I mean, you can't do that when you're wasted enough to be like a fucking nuisance. You know what I mean? You'll fuck the riffs up, man. You can't play Freebird when you're blacked out. It's just not gonna work. So it's like when this fan came out, this video, it's like everything kind of stacked against Theo almost. And I'm almost curious to see like how Theo's fans are gonna react to this, because like I said, Theo's always like, man, I'm always trying to be like positive on the podcast and spread that love and positivity throughout the world. As a matter of fact, I don't even think people should jerk off, man. I think porn is like the devil, bro. And when you touch yourself, you're basically giving a devil its horns, you know? Every time you jerk off, a devil gets its horns, you know? So this is not a good look for Theo, especially now that this fan is speaking out. Let's watch this. Oh, look at that. Sorry, this is a Reddit clip. For some reason, when you go to play a Reddit clip, they don't start the clip with the volume on. You have to turn the volume on, then hit play. I did it again. Stop doing that. Volume on, play the video.
Hey, I'm the fan who got choked out by Theo Von. Let me tell you what actually happened. So I'm not just a random fan. I live in Nashville. I play music full time. That's me. All of this happened on May 2nd. You can see right there. Which also happened to be my birthday. I had my gig from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. My friends brought me cake. They brought me balloons. The bar brought me sparklers.
Look at that. So this guy has his coming out party / birthday party on a day where he's playing at this bar in Nashville, having a good old time. They're bringing him cakes, like penis-shaped balloons and stuff like that. And this guy's having like the time of his life. And then he sees Theo Von across the bar. What a better way to end the night. He goes, man, I love Theo Von. As a matter of fact, I've always dreamt of sucking Theo Von's dick. I mean, this guy is clearly gay. Not that that's anything, you know, that doesn't mean that it's okay that Theo Von choked him out. You can be gay and you still deserve to live in a world where Theo Von doesn't choke you out. So let's hear this guy. He was having his coming out party. His friends were bringing him cake, balloons, sparklers, all this shit. And then he sees Theo Von.
So when Theo walked in, he didn't have any security with him. So people were walking up to him, talking to him, taking photos. I finished my show. This was like 10:18. Nobody in my party had talked to him yet, not even me. We thought it would be a funny video idea to get him and me popping my birthday balloons together because he's a comedian. I was trying to be courteous because he was...
Listen to that. I don't know. Maybe that's why Theo choked him. Theo was probably like, man, what kind of stupid ass fucking idea is this, man? I'm about to fuck you up, man. You want me to pop balloons on your video because it's your birthday and I'm a comedian? Like, what do you think? I'm fucking gay, man? Like, yo, Theo Von was probably like, that's the dumbest idea I ever heard. I'm about to choke you.
Party had talked to him yet, not even me. We thought it would be a funny video idea to get him and me popping my birthday balloons together because he's a comedian. I was trying to be courteous because he was talking to somebody at the moment. So in this next video, you can actually hear me say, I don't want to interrupt their conversation. I was waiting my turn.
Look at that. The guy even says to his quote unquote, I don't know if that's his girlfriend. I think it's a decoy, personally. So he says to the decoy, he goes, I don't want to interrupt Theo's conversation. This guy, he's just a gay man trying to meet his favorite comedian. This is insanity.
Everybody was all just standing around having fun, having a good time. Nobody was bothering anybody. I mean, I'll show you the full video.
Look at that.
That's the guy I was waiting for, who I didn't want to interrupt.
And you can see from this video that he's posting here that this guy's not drunk. So right there, in my opinion, you're starting to lose points, Mr. Von. You're starting to lose. The oven is starting to get a little cold, if you know what I mean.
This is where the video that you've seen starts. I went up and I said, will you pop some balloons with me? He turned away and looked like I said something offensive. I leaned in and said, hey, man.
Yeah, he was like, bro, that's gay as fuck, man. No, I'm not popping balloons with you. You know, what are you, a fucking queer, man? I'm Theo Von, man. I'm fucking friends with Trump.
up and I said, "Will you pop some balloons with me?" He turned away and looked like I said something offensive. I leaned in and said, "Hey man, I'm a fan, I'm just messing with you." He turned back around and then aggressively got in my face right there. I was confused, so you can see me lean in and say, "What?" And that's when he grabbed my throat and shoved me back. What happened was a completely uncalled for reaction, especially when you consider the facts that
you always know it's coming from like this guy is the gayest lib that you've ever met. Anytime they go, what had happened, what had occurred was a completely uncalled for reaction. You already know. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, this guy should sue. You should sue Theo Von. I think that would be awesome. This guy should sue Theo Von for this.
Confused, so you can see me lean in and say, "What?" And that's when he grabbed my throat and shoved me back. What happened was a completely uncalled for reaction, especially when you consider the facts that nobody in my party had been badgering him for hours. We hadn't even talked to him. This was a 14-second interaction, and that was it. As an entertainer in downtown Nashville, I get being overwhelmed by crowds and people coming up to you all the time. At the end of my shift, at least...
Okay, they're coming up to this guy? I think not.
At least I get to unplug and go home, and I feel for Theo where he probably can't get away from that a lot more easily than I can. And post-surgery, I was 1 week back from recovery. This could have ended my career, but luckily there was no damage to my vocal cords or neck.
Look at that. Remember I told you this guy's a problem. He's one of those social justice. He goes, "Oh man, my throat, my vocal cords could have been damaged for life off of this." He's a soy boy. He's a lib. Let's get him out of here. Theo Von, it might have been justified.
I'm not trying to get any sympathy or anything out of this. I just want people to know that, the celebrities that you see on camera can be completely different people in real life. You don't know. Thank you for listening to the truth.
Listen to that. Let's give it up for Theo Von. He's a complete monster, this guy. This Theo Von. A complete fucking psychopath, this one. I can't even believe it. This guy, Theo Von. Who would have thought? This guy who loves peace and love, and he doesn't want nobody to jerk off, man. He's just trying to get everybody to be cool and fucking happy-like and stuff. And he goes and he just chokes the first fan that comes and says hi to him. Imagine that. And then imagine if he would have done it to anybody else. That's what gets me. It's like, why couldn't he have done this to like Sean Strickland? Imagine if Theo Von would have tried doing this to Sean Strickland for getting in his face, and then Sean Strickland just fucking armbars the shit out of him, hits him a couple times in the chin. You know what I mean? He rips out some of them Turkish hair plug extensions that Theo Von's got and that mullet of his. I'd pay to see that. I'd pay good money to see that. Nah, instead, he ends up choking out this soy boy. I seriously hope this guy sues Theo Von. I can't wait to see Theo's reaction to this. Because usually something like this happens and Theo does a solo episode on his podcast and he'll be like, "Oh, I done did it again, guys. No, I know normally I'm coming up on here and I'm apologizing because I jerked off. But I'll have you know I'm 3 weeks clean off of porn. But what I'm really here to talk about is my apology to that fan that I choked out over at the weekend there in Nashville, I had been off the porn for about, 9 days at that point, It was right before my last relapse. And I was just real edgy, man. I was coming off of that porn. And this guy just came at me, and the way that he just looked so feminine. And that really got me going in my loins, I started getting like real, hostile almost, like I was going into heat. And they say, three brothers, they always go into heat. They get, you know what I'm saying, man? It's them squirrels in them jumpsuits, So this guy comes and gets in my face, and I had no choice but to choke him. I was so feral, man. I was so horny, man. I could have blasted right through him with my semen. So instead I choked him out, and for that I want to apologize to that young fan. We want to promote positivity and not jerking off, but he had just got me so horny I was 9 days off the porn. So on that note, I'd like to thank you for watching another episode of Lost Ox Media. Let's turn on some music, and get the mood right for our little saying goodbye. As always, thanks for sticking around, and be sure to catch us on Wednesdays, 5 a.m. for the audio uploads, 7 p.m. for the live premieres and chats on the video episodes. That'll be on YouTube. If you want to stay up to date with all things Lost Docs Media, follow us on all of our socials, catch episodes when they get taken down from YouTube due to copyright reasons, or just support the show by buying some merch. You can do so by visiting lostdocs.media. Until next time, I bid you adieu. Goodbye.
Do my thing. Fear of missing out is scared of me. Where the fuck you been? Always gotta keep them wondering. What's the reason in front end? It look better on paper. I look better in person. It all works in my favor. It goes on.